It'll look okay and perfect. Hey everyone, my name is D'Angelo Murillo, and I'll be your dungeon master for this evening. Welcome to my channel. What we're gonna do tonight is play our second episode of Tayyar, which is a political intrigue sort of D&D series where I have my wonderful and amazing friends who brought their awesome characters here, and we'll see if they can survive the life of being a noble as they unexpectedly got thrust into this position. But more on that in a little bit, as I want to go ahead and go around the room to honor the people that I'm working with tonight. Starting off with Utahime. Tell us about how amazing you are. If you do a great job, you get an advantage on your first roll.
Hi guys, I'm Utahime. You guys can find me at Utahime Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, here on Twitch, where I occasionally stream a variety of games, especially scary games for this month because it's Spooktober, as we all know. And also, too, you can find me at Twitter at my legal name, Brianna DeCoster. And I'm a cosplayer, streamer, TTRPG performer. And if you want to see what I'm up to, definitely check out my socials of the medias and stay tuned for cool announcements coming up.
Yeah, not only that, but correct me if I'm wrong, Utahime, but you were recently featured by a small brand of Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yes, as well as a certain person who's the master tonight. So yes, Latin X creators being shouted out on D&D Beyond, and we were two of the very lucky ones who have been featured. So very grateful for that, and
Yeah.
I love that because I am a person who is multiracial. So I celebrate every single race that I am, and that includes my Latinx heritage. So I was really, really happy that I was included in it this year.
So funny story really quick. So RoboGoblin's setting up his own sort of Latinx sort of D&D celebration, tabletop celebration, because there's not enough of it going on in the community right now. And one of our players had to drop out, and I was like, oh well, Utahime would be a great person to have as the thing. And he's like, she's Latinx. And I was like, yeah. And then
Yeah.
he was like, oh shit, I had no idea. I would have gone to her first. And then he went off to reach out to you and everything.
I mean, it happens because I've been featured also too for Black History Month,
Yeah.
different things, and I mean I'm also too Black, so it's to me it's like I celebrate all of those different parts of me, and I don't think that you're one less of anything because you're mixed. Yeah. So I like that basically that people are still acknowledging us, those who are multiracial, as still being a part of the community, because we very much we are. Yeah, we're here.
So good. And then going over to the ever dreamy and sultry star of Port Saga, the Vampire Masquerade podcast.
What's up, everybody? I am Andrew J. Landy, aka Duralath, as you heard. You can find me on the socials on Instagram and Twitter at Andrew J. Landy, or for fighting game things, Twitter at Duralath, which is also my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Duralath, where I play fighting games as well as other games like Hades, and for the month of October, Spooky Month, things like Forewarned and Phasmophobia happening too. I also play Dante Mendoza in the audio drama Vampire the Masquerade Port Saga, episodes dropping every Thursday. So we've got an episode coming up. Overall, happy to be here. I am playing Jackson Arcega, your coin master for this campaign. Somebody who has no idea how to really budget, but nobody knows that. So let's have some fun.
Not only that, but I believe you want everyone to check out episode 3 of Port Saga.
Oh yeah, we'll go into that in a little bit, but I know that the third episode is coming up tomorrow, so I'll touch on that a little more. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then going over to the one of the greatest tabletop RPG performers, who's really good at getting hurt and mortally wounded, and also really good at Apex and Valorant, Rising Valkyrie.
Hi, I'm Jess. You can find me at Rising Valkyrie on Instagram. I'm going to be in fuck me, right? Phoenix by Night coming up on the Adjunct channel right here, and also obviously in this wonderful series, and a few things coming up. Yeah, basically come check out on my Instagram, on my stories, on my posts. I'll always be there, and maybe my Twitter too, but maybe I'm trying. I'd say
I'm tagging
at Rising
you.
Valkyrie J. Trying to get me active, yeah, but that's about it. I'm just chilling. I'm here. I'm playing Eclipse, who somehow fell into a role of queen, I guess, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, the right mother. So wrong time, right mother. So And yeah, so we also have our fourth cast member, which is Discount Bard Eddie. He's coming home from like work a little bit later, so he's gonna go ahead and just pop into the series. You may see the overlay go wonky. I will fix it while like we're playing and all that kind of stuff. But he'll be here tonight, playing an amazing Spy Master. He is an incredible Twitch streamer. Oh, you know what? I did. Let me see. Let me see if this works.
Oh, the socials.
Nope, that's wrong one. Let's do. There we go. Perfect. Yeah. So you can follow their links on their social medias. These are wonderful, beautiful people. So you're going to want to follow them because they're always involved in awesome projects. We also have a tip menu tonight. So if you'd like to enhance the game, there is also a channel point option for, I think, 500 channel points. You can give a +1 to whichever cast members, and the cast members can, they themselves use it on themselves or any of their fellow cast members if they'd like to. And all of the money will get split up evenly tonight. So feel free, if you're enjoying the show, if you want to show support for everyone, feel free to donate by using the clicking on the banner down below, or you can go ahead and I think it's under tip, yeah, or click that link and you should be able to like go and do it. So yes, my name is D'Angelo Murillo, and I'm a tabletop RPG performer, an event organizer, and a writer, trying to put together projects to help our community with inclusivity and diversity. Being creative and storytelling is a huge passion of mine. I'm also coming out with my own tabletop RPG that I'll be releasing later, like this month, on Kickstarter, which I'm super stressed out about, but it should good vibes. Yeah,
You got this.
So thank you. So it should go really, really well. So yes, but tonight, Tayyar is a show where there is a nation by the name of Tayyar that got completely devastated by a mystical, magical plague that has eluded all of the priests, all of the druids, all of the medicine men and women and everything. No one could find a cure. It culled 20% of the nation, mostly affecting nobles as well as the military, leaving a very shattered nation to pick up the pieces essentially. And that is where our heroes actually come into play, where from their bloodlines, they were the heirs. They were never supposed to have the seat of power or the throne, lordship, ladyship, or anything like that. And yet they did, because they were the last surviving member of their line or family, or the oldest of the survivors at least. And so like going around the room, we have the actual queen, Eclipse, who never wanted the throne, was away during the whole debacle when it came to Tayyar, and has come back to have her throne and just got coronated. We have the coin master, Jackson, whose family, I believe, did not support the throne, right? Yeah, did not support the throne. And yet it makes it a little bit awkward for Jackson, because he now has to serve as the royal like accountant, the coin master, to help guide them financially through this hardship. And then Dia is the opposite of Jackson, where her family was hardcore into Tayyar, supporting the throne no matter what, to ensure the nation was as strong as possible. And she is, I think, one of the only ones, if not the only one, to like walk with pride into her position. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
No, that's
But
correct.
as the general, yeah. And what is the highest backer level for Emerald Templars? I think it's like 150 right now. But yeah, so more on that later. So anyways, what happened last episode was they were informed of their positions of power. They were introduced to their second in commands for these different positions, and Bruce and Queen Eclipse hit it off quite well as royal advisor and her. So that was super awesome. And as it went through the coronation, they made certain decisions with how they were going to deal with the rebels of Tayyar, who are causing civil unrest because they don't like various aspects of the old queen and feel like the new queen's going to walk directly in her footsteps. They met various nobles as well and made decisions on how they were going to handle different political allegiances or like adversaries and all that. And at the very end of the night, our heroes got split into 3 different directions. Number 1, the queen went back to her room after a night of like, drinking and eating and, becoming queen, to get like jumped by an unknown assailant, as she had sent one of her guards off to go get more tequila for her. And she found a dagger in her like kidney because of it, dropping her down quite low game wise. And then not only that, but the coin master and the general, Jackson and Dia, stayed behind to actually talk with the nobles and discuss various like ways. They can either get a loan from these different nations or get military support or what have you. Just trying their best to communicate and talk with everyone. And then lastly, the spy master Relvin had went to the dungeons to go and find the people that they imprisoned who were causing the sort of chaos or rabble rousing for the members of the rebellion and everything. So because everyone is split up, and we know what's happening with Queen Eclipse right now, we're gonna go ahead and go like 20 minutes backwards and go into the actual throne room where the feast is being held, or Great Hall, whatever you want to call it, to where Jackson and Dia are, as they can clearly see various representatives from their nation as they're communicating with them. So we'll start off with Dia. Would you like to be like with Jackson talking together to certain people, or would you guys kind of like to be separated from one another doing your own things?
Dia would definitely be separated because of the fact that she still is not trusting of Jackson, considering his family's stance on the new queen. And
Oh yeah, Jackson is not cool with Dio right now being there. So yeah, we're definitely social distancing right now.
yeah,
I
the
love it.
occasional glare
Yeah,
across the room from
yeah.
Dia
Hmm.
holding her
Oh yeah.
wine.
Hmm. Yeah, this is
It's so
happening.
good. Okay, perfect. And then let me see here. Ba-da-ba. Okay, good. Yeah. So now we're to start off with Dia, but at the same time, Jackson, you could hear everything that's being talked about. As
Hmm.
maybe you're like going to refill your cup, or get another, like, go to the charcuterie board and get some more meat and cheese and crackers and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
But
charcuteries.
Dia, yeah, at this time, you are currently engaged with talking to two representatives. One is from Yordik, and the other one is Shabaka. Now, to give you a reminder, Yordik is the number one nation who's fought side by side with TR in the old wars to like pretty much conquer everything, and they're top dog here. They can tell by they look extremely regal. They have various gems and jewels all over them. And then the other one is Shabaka, which is was the nation to actually just give up their arms and be like, we don't want any fights, we don't want any wars. You can clearly conquer us. Totally cool. So they're not so much loyal, but they are allied sort of with TR in this. So while they're talking with you, one of which is a satyr, which represents Yordik, and the other one is a minotaur, which represents Shabaka. And the Yordik representative kind of looks to you and goes like, "Well, I've heard wonderful things about your family, and I'm glad to see someone who's capable of managing a sword to be in this position of power. So like good on you." As he seems really really, yeah.
You flatter me. Thank you so much for your kind comments. And again, as I said, our queen will not disappoint any of you. She is quite capable, and I promise that you will see how our nation will flourish.
He gives you a small like bow. Now in the caste system sort of thing, you guys are kind of equal, but you're slightly above him because you're a military sort of leader. So he does pay you a lot of respect, and he goes like, "I do have to honor you even more so because I think you're right. The queen, like when they saw the Harwin leader, and she just like didn't let him sit here and dine. I am very it was kind of off-putting that she's gonna listen to their like proposition or proposal later on, but I'm sure it's nothing to like write home about or anything like that. And then he goes like,
Please
but
keep in mind that each generation has to be better than the last. And she's taking the steps to create a certain level of diplomacy that's necessary to keep our nations as strong as possible. And obviously, with the state that all of our nations are in due to the unfortunate events, it's it's important for us to stand together, even if it seems like it may be with our enemies. Who knows? Maybe those who were enemies before, seeing how strong we actually are, they might change their stance from before.
and the Yordic representative, who's a satyr, kind of like gives a like unsatisfied, unconvinced sort of, unless you want to do a persuasion check.
She's going to continue.
Okay.
She's still trying to convince them.
Uh,
You know, my mother is a magnificent dancer, and you may think, ah, what does dancing have to do with a topic like this? But if you think about it, in a partner dance, you have the lead, who's like the frame, who frames the picture, who is strong and sturdy and reliable. And then the other, the partner, is the magnificent masterpiece, the picture. But without one another, is it truly a masterpiece? Together, that is when the magic happens. Without either, it doesn't work. So again, the dance can't continue without one another. And I feel like that's a metaphor for the state that we're in. We have to be strong. We will be as a nation in order to support our fellow friends, compatriots, you guys who are, again, the art pieces that are to shine and flourish. So that's, if that makes sense. My mother loved to tell me that in order to try to let me know that sometimes, a little metaphor comes in handy from time to time.
and the York representative like gives a nod as he like swivels around his drink and goes like, "You do have a way with words, like this. You give a lot of food for thought." As he turns over to his Shabaka representative and who kind of like takes a big drag of a cigar and kind of like blows it out and goes like, "Honestly, I'm really glad that the way that the queen, the new queen, like treated the representatives. Like I thought full blown that she was going to kick him out and like send him to the guillotine or whatever, but that grace was something that I really appreciated. We always wish that there would be more diplomacy from TR when it comes to these other nations instead of just a hard stance. So I'm really curious as if Harwan will finally open its borders because they have a lot of resources and like we could all use like we could all make a lot of money if we get some of the resources. As he kind of like looks over and it definitely seems like the Yordic representative does not like Harwin like at all any sort of negotiations with them, yet Shabaka seems very interested and kind of like leans in a little bit to go like not only that, but if you guys do decide to talk with them more and open some sort of negotiations, please let me know because I'd be willing to assist in any way like we can with making things more peaceful, because when there's peace there's more usual trade. And yeah, so um Jackson, you can overhear everything. Would you like to, and you don't have to if you don't want to, would you like to interject in this point and join like next to Dia, or would you like to just kind of like go back to where you kind of were previously?
Totally forgot I was muted there. Jackson's actually impressed with how Dia handled that. Didn't feel the need to have to step in and explain diplomacy. Uh, he's going to stay. He's going to just nod and just okay. She may be more than just a brute spear. That's fine. Okay. So mostly he's just going to nod and go back to where he was.
Sure. So you head back to kind of like the area that you were. Dia, you are within earshot, and you can see essentially like where he is. And there's a few other like servants and representatives from different nations. If there's anyone in particular you like to speak to from a certain nation, you can always let me know. Otherwise, I'll like go off of whatever. And so
Yeah, Dio
Jackson
would
has
probably like finish after just like listening and talking to the diplomats, basically letting them continue to mingle, and she would probably excuse herself, but kind of keeping also to an eye on
yeah
the surroundings, making sure that the guards are at their posts and doing
yeah.
what they're supposed to do, and
Why would you want to do that?
foreshadowing, and just also to just making sure that it's secure, things seem to be going well. If there was anything any suspicious happenings, that she's on it, on the case.
Okay, perfect. Let me check really quick. Uh, oh, they are not. I'm sorry about that. Rising. So my bad. I'll make sure to update the sheet later. So, Jackson, as you go back to sort of your area, like the table that you're at, or standing up, to like what have you, you
Mm,
do see a representative from Olteca come by. Now you know that they like essentially like lay down their arms as long as they were able to operate when the war came, and they've always been a weird, mysterious sort of area where they practice a lot of witchcraft. They're a very loose culture where they
mm,
do a lot of things that Tiar and Yordik and some of the other nations don't really want to participate in, but they as long as they pay the taxes and dues, and their
mm,
armies march when they say so, then like everything's fine. But this representative from Olteca, it seems to be a like fairly young woman,
mm,
very conventionally attractive and everything like that. As
mhm.
she makes her way over to you, which is not uncommon, as like both because you're a good looking dude, and also because like everyone's mingling with everyone. But she
Yes,
comes over and goes like, "Hey, you are Jackson, is that correct? You're the new coin master."
I am Jackson, and your name is.
My name is, one moment please, Artwa. As she goes, I'm Arwa, and I'm a diplomat from Olteca. As she looks over to her sort of emblem that showcases her
Mm.
nation's like thing, and she goes like, I've been meaning to talk with you for a moment. Do you mind if I talk to you over like by the side really quick?
Oh, I don't mind at all. Please lead the way.
Okay. She leads you to a corner of the room, away from the main group of people. Dia, you
Mm,
can see him, but you can't hear him anymore.
mm,
So as you kind of like walked like to go and check on the guards and sort of patrol a little bit, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Jackson, she like you can tell that with your passive perception, she's eyeing sort of everyone to make sure that no one's like sort of in earshot. And she goes like, I understand that TR is in a very particular situation financially,
mm,
and I may have a sort of solution or a way to help. As long as you're open minded. As she takes her drink a little bit and takes like a little swig of it, and she just like gives you a compliment, being like, oh, I love your beard, by the way, it looks great. And then as she goes, so have you ever heard of Hagcrest? And feel free to do a history check if you'd like to. All of you did
uh,
great introduction, so you all get an advantage for the session whenever you'd like it. Yeah,
you said it's a history check
correct.
with advantage. Oh, I nat 20, but it's a 19 because of -1 on history. Nice.
Sorry, it's hag crust. So you know have a hag crust, and you can tell me how you know of hag crust. But hag crust is a narcotic, like kind of like an opioid, kind of a downer and
Mm,
everything. That's like farmed in various areas. A lot of nations have sort of banned them for their highly addictive properties.
mhm,
But some like very loose cultures, some different nations openly use it for different practices, rituals, medicinal purposes, and all that kind of stuff.
mm.
And once again, she goes like, "Are you familiar with hag crust at all?"
The name head crust has come up. My family is a little familiar with. You'll have to forgive me. I myself am not terribly familiar with it, but uh, I do understand it has certain properties that some may find questionable, others find useful. What can you tell me about head crust from your experience?
And she goes, yeah, well, over in Old Tecca, we use it for a lot of our medicines to ease the pain, and like to
Mm,
help our shamans be able to communicate with the spirits and do all this kind of stuff. But there are people who tend to buy it for recreational use as well.
mhm,
And who are we to get in the way of people having fun? So now the old queen was very close-minded when it came to these sort of propositions and sort of like ideas of this route being passed around and everything. But I'm hoping that the new queen may be more like willing to participate. And she like kind of leans in a little bit closer, make sure that no one's watching and everything like that. As she goes, there's a couple routes, if you're interested. Before I go any further, like, does this seem something you want to hear about? Because if not, I would not want to waste the time of the coin master of TR.
I understand your concern. Also understand the bleak situation that this entire world is in, and if there are solutions, no stone can be left unturned. So it is my job to hear whatever is possible from anyone who is willing to offer a solution to any situation we have. Whether it's a waste of time, well, we'll see. I can definitely say that time spent with you is not wasted at all.
Oh, smooth. All right. So, what she goes like? Well spoken. Good. And then and she goes, well, um here's the two ideas that we kind of have. One is if you allow us to actually sell this product in your lands, whether it be supplying your merchants with it, or having our merchants come in and do it, we're willing to give you 15% of the profits that come through, which because of the scarcity of this, and there's a high demand for it. And if you accept this, then TR will be one of the like highest selling points in the northern, sort of nations to have this to sell hag crust. Whether it be under the radar or openly, is completely under your discretion. Alternatively, if you're not comfortable with full blown selling it within your lands or having us sell it, if you allow us just to travel with it, and like if you see it in our cargo, turn a blind eye to it, as long as we can pass through your lands, then we'll give you a 5% cut of whatever we sort of like sort of make and everything. And yeah.
Interesting proposal. I will have to. I personally will not be able to make the decision right now. It would not be. It would not behoove me to. That is something I must ask our queen. Perhaps if she is still available tonight, I maybe I'll be able to ask her. But I, I figure something of this sort is better posed for the morning. However, I will not delay in giving you an answer. It does seem lucrative, and again, I will have to look into the effects on our people as well, and how it may improve morale if it does indeed. Again, this is not me saying yes or no, but I will consider it, of course.
And she goes, that's all I could ask for you. I know it's a difficult proposition because it's going from like 0 to 60 essentially.
Hmm.
And she gives you like a curtsy and goes, I will be in town for the next 3 days. I will be at the Unicorn's Horn it's in. So feel free to look for me there.
Unicorn's Horn Inn. Hmm. Perhaps I'll perhaps I'll venture over there. Again, I do bid you adieu. It was Aura, was it correct?
Correct.
And Jackson definitely bows in return and returns to the curtsy. So I must get back to everyone there. Do take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I imagine we'll be seeing each other soon.
Perfect. So she leaves you. She leaves you be, and you see that a lot of other people are kind of mingling a little bit, but they're mostly heading out now. As you can clearly see Dia in like the talking to guards and sort of servants and all that kind of stuff. At this moment, would you like to go like up to her to talk with her, or would you like to do anything else?
I will definitely head to Dia this time. I am going to break social distancing now.
You're like 6 feet, 6 feet.
Right?
As you make your way over to Dia now, Dia, what would you like to be doing in this moment? Whether it be talking to the guards or the servants, and what of it? Yeah.
Basically, she would be chatting with one of the guards that's going to be kind of over in that area, just making sure like if there was anything important to report to her, if they noticed anything out of the ordinary, or if everything was a-okay. So she's just kind of going over her usual checklist of what she's been trained to do since she was younger, as far as
Yeah.
making sure to cross all T's, dot all the I's.
Perfect. So now you can see from the looks on all the servants and the guards' faces that they look pretty exhausted. They're very sparse. It's very thin. This like patrol and everything like that. But they do tell you that like we're trying our best. We've checked the pantries. We've checked the area of the perimeter around and all that kind of stuff. And as far as we can tell, there is no threat or no danger at all. But we can immediately do a double time to check again to just make sure. Like whatever you need, General. As the servants are like hurrying to clean up everything as people are sort of leaving to like tidy up essentially.
If there is nothing else that you need to report, just go back to your post, and I'll be sure to follow up after I check on the queen in a short while. So just stay on alert. But obviously, you all have been working tirelessly, and I understand that. Also, and she's going to call over the head guard
Mhm.
and the head servant briefly
Mhm.
to have them approach. And she's going to so in Tayyar, if someone of noble stature wanted to basically treat the staff and the guards like basically where after everything was finished, they would,
Yeah.
how much gold would be necessary in that case?
To like tip them or anything like that?
Basically where it would be enough for them to, obviously eat, eat good food
Oh,
and
got it. Okay,
great
so
wine.
as a reference, like one piece of gold can feed you for a week. So we can have that at be like $100, I guess. So one gold equals $100. If
Okay.
for,
How
yeah.
many people are basically working, would you say, for guards and servants?
For guards and servants, at least in your immediate vicinity, you can see that there's 6 guards, and then there are probably like 12 servants that are like hustling and bustling around and everything. At this current moment, yeah.
Okay, so basically if she were to give 5 gold pieces, would that be enough for everyone? Or would we have to make it 10?
No, you're good. So you can give 5, and they can always split it up. They can like break it into or not physically break it, but like yeah, because that's 500 silver pieces essentially. So they can
Okay.
always like split that. Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah, so she's basically going to let the head of the guard and of the servants. We do appreciate all of your hard work, and as reward for taking good care of our queen tonight, this is for you and your team. Now, remember, your job is not yet done until we say it, but after, feel free to treat yourselves.
and they look humbled, completely like taken aback by this like gesture, and the commoners will remember that. Yeah, so they take it and they're extremely gracious as everyone kind of stops what they're doing for the moment and be like, "Oh my god, like we can pay our bills like this month." And then as they go and
And
like
guards, easy on the celebratory wine. Yes.
like, of course,
Alert.
General.
And I'm like, alert.
Yeah, there you go. Gold right now, like maybe guillotine later if you fail. So, um, so Jackson, you do catch up to Dia as she's finishing up this conversation. As they all disperse to be able to follow her orders, double time it. The air seems lighter here as everyone seems even like they want to work now. They are feeling appreciated. Yeah, and
It seems you've been. I'm already approaching Dia, and as I'm approaching her, I just say to her, "It seems your spirit here has raised the morale of everyone. You're quite the energetic one."
As I've been told.
Hmm.
Well, it's a good thing that I had enough wine and pleasant talk this evening that I can stand talking to you for more than 10 seconds.
Uh, uh, my lady, you'll have to forgive me. I pegged you for someone who was, I guess, initially just forgive my language, a hard ass, and I see you wish to serve you serve the country, and please understand. My goal here is to serve the country as well. I understand you may be familiar with my family and my name, and it's unfortunate. It is quite unfortunate the way things have happened, but I'm here now, and all I wish to do is serve and serve alongside you and everyone else here to serve our great nation, and I will do whatever I can. So please accept my humblest apologies for judging you from the get-go. I understand that you've had an immediate effect with all the workers here. Worker morale will help everyone. It will help everyone at the very least healthier, and people will want to stay here, which will in turn help us out. So I can only say thank you for everything you're doing right now.
Well, I guess I shall say my apologies as well for being this hard ass, as you said.
Mm.
Uh, I just, again, it is hard for my family and I to completely trust your intentions, especially since it has been made known where your family stands. And it is definitely not with the crown.
Mm.
But I will, for now, take you at your word. But remember, it is just at face value until I see that it's more than just words
Mm.
and pleasant talk.
Indeed, indeed. Well, I hope that I do not let you down, my lady Dia. I also understand you handle a polearm very well. Is that correct?
Well, if you're referring to my trident, yes, I have been known to do very well. It is
Question:
my
Do you
weapon of
have
choice.
do you have your trident on you right now?
I do not actually.
Okay.
I do have my scimitar. I have
Okay.
that
Yeah.
set aside.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Continue.
Understood.
Like I put it aside when I started walking around to be less intimidating.
Like
So
your
it's actually
ceremonial
it's
armor,
probably
or-
right over by where the throne that where she was, because I think I
Yeah.
had it with me last session, but I think I put
Mm,
it aside when I was just
okay.
making chit chat, so it's not as aggressive.
Intimidating. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she knows that she has like that fiery side to her, so she's
Are you
trying
enjoying the
to
food?
she's trying yeah she's trying her best to rein it in and remember her mom's words and metaphors about diplomacy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Noted. So you do not have the trident with you, but it is around.
Yeah, it's like
If
over
you
it by
need
the
to.
throne. Yeah, so
Right.
she has it, it's kind of propped up like behind it. Yeah.
It's
Perfect.
probably got its own like little stand there,
Yeah,
just for
it
easy
does.
access. No, the reason why I ask is, aside from this coin master position, I guess I fancy myself an enthusiast of pole arms as well. Perhaps when there is, I guess, downtime, perhaps we might be able to spar and show each other, I guess, a couple of different moves and see how we can all improve. Perhaps you could teach me a few things. You are the general, of course. You are the superior, so perhaps I can learn from you as well. And perhaps there may be a few things you can learn from me as well.
Oh, sorry. It was the last part of that sentence. But yes, if you, of course, if you would like to spar, even in spite of my famous reputation, then yes, yeah, if you fancy a good spar, let's plan a time. Obviously, not tonight, since we are
No,
actually supposed to
no.
go and meet up with the queen for drinks.
Yes, indeed. You are correct. Perhaps I'll stay around to just oversee things. If you'd like to go early, or if you'd like to stay a bit, perhaps I will go then. Your choice, my lady.
Let's since we've said our apologies and we're trying to start a new working relationship, so to speak, let's
Mm,
go together.
indeed,
Sign of good faith.
indeed, my lady.
At this moment, as you guys are walking to the actual queen's chambers, which is a little bit of a walk away, you do notice there is a guard that is kind of like essentially jogging down the area. As he sees the general, he'll like salute and everything like that, and then he'll carry on as he like runs past you to go to a servant. And be like, hey there, do you have it? Like, we need tequila like immediately because the queen is actually like requesting it, essentially. And then they're like, yeah, absolutely, I'll get this one. This one seems to be unopened. And then
Wait,
the
does
guard,
she know if that was the only guard that was supposed to be watching the queen's
you
rooms?
do, this is a night shift, so you do not know this guard that
Okay.
at least they're specific to you, but you were in earshot to hear that the queen needs this tequila, essentially. Which is not super like alarming, because you guys did say you're gonna drink after everything.
Yeah, so that means that basically in her mind they're on time and they're not wasting her time. But Dia will take a second. Oh, before I forget, there's one thing I cannot be without, and it's that famous weapon, that polearm you mentioned. And then
Mm,
she's gonna go over and in that direction to basically grab her trident to bring it with her. So she's obviously
Perfect.
prepared for anything.
So going over to the queen's chambers. So you are you have a bit of steel that's thrust into your back. You thankfully were able to withstand the poison, the venom that coated it and everything. But it did a quite a bit of damage. Now, what happens at this moment? Do you audibly gasp? Do you do anything or say anything as a free action in this moment?
I am going to like I'm gonna grimace, but I'm gonna like what would I say? I'm gonna scream for help. So I'll be like,
Okay.
someone
That's
fucking help me right fucking now.
So you yell that out, like maybe even the first couple words, and immediately, without hesitation, the door slams open as you see the guard that was still posted there, who seems to be like a half orc, and like middle age and all that kind of stuff. And he like looks around the room for danger and immediately sees this assailant, who has their second action and all that kind of stuff. So this assailant who's like will pull the blade from you and then take
Uh-huh.
another blade out of their pocket and or their side and throw it. That's 22. And we're gonna see if this guard lives.
Oh.
That's a lot of sixes.
Oh God. Oh God. Why
12,
you do
18.
this?
Yeah,
Okay,
poor
great.
God.
So what happens, which helps me narratively, is that he did 19 damage with that second like knife as he like throws it and everything. So, what happens is that he opens the door with his like pole arm like at the ready essentially as he kicks it open and is like ready to stab as he makes a few steps towards this assassin. As the assassin pulls out a knife, throws it, it like goes straight into the chest of this like this exposed area of this guard, who takes a hefty bit of damage and kind of like kneels down, like succumbing essentially to the pain, as he is not dead, but he took a very heavy move. Now it is no longer his turn, so I'm going to need you to roll initiative,
Yep.
and then the guard is going to roll initiative as well. Ooh, we got pretty good. All right, you might be 42, but you know what? His initiative is 19, so
Dirty 20.
30 20. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Get him.
I'm
All right,
pissed.
so
Yeah. I like it.
So it is your turn, Queen Eclipse.
Okay.
He is like 1 foot away from you as he's right behind you.
Okay. I have all my crap, right? I didn't think.
Correct. We're gonna say that you have ceremonial armor, but still, it's like your gear. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna reach for my rapier with my dominant hand.
Okay.
But I'm gonna grip it backwards as if the blade's coming out that way, and
Sure.
just slice across with that behind me, right? He's behind me, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna grab it from my hip, and as I turn, I'm gonna slice basically.
Perfect. Go ahead and roll for it.
Oh, don't do me dirty. Come on.
You're gonna need a 16 or higher to succeed, and you do have advantage if you like it whenever you'd like to.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna need advantage on that one for sure. Okay, that is a nat 20 with a +7, so 27 to hit.
Perfect. You do hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
D8.
It won't be sneak attack unless it says something specific, like if you're the only person within 5 feet or blah blah blah.
Oh,
How do you
no,
do
no.
max damage again?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, max damage.
How do I do that again?
So I'm sorry. You know, you're gonna roll double damage dice. So
Okay.
whatever your damage dice is, just roll it double the amount and then roll it. And let's see.
Okay. That is 8, 5, 6, that's 11. 11 plus 5 is 16 damage with the rapier.
Okay, 16 damage.
And then with my bonus one, I'm going to attack with my psychic blade.
Okay.
With my other hand. But as this happens, as she's kind of turning around to form this blade in her hand, you'll see her hair move slightly. And what this assailant will see is this glowing purple eye with the energy just shining from that eye.
Yeah.
With like a dark spot right in the middle of it. And she's going to attack with this one. That is a 17 to hit.
17 will hit. Go ahead and do damage.
That is a 3 plus a 7 damage with the psychic blade.
Perfect. Okay. And then anything else for you?
I think I'm good for now. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good for now.
So you turn on this assassin. You are no damsel in distress as you pull out your rapier. You like swipe him across the chest, and use your side blade to like stab into him or whatever you do. The guard also goes, as even though he has like a literal knife that's like sticking out of his. I didn't roll for poison. Yeah, he fails. All right, cool. So all right. So what might be the last moments of this guard, this nameless NPC, is he rushes forward with his pole arm and just thrusts as hard as he can into this assassin as he attempts and gets an 18. Okay, perfect. So which is actually like a 23 with his stats. So that's good as he strikes for 10 damage. So, what happens at this moment is that you turn on him, you use your rapier, you use your side blade and everything, and the guard like is struggling to stay up. You can see wherever the exposed like of his orcish sort of flesh, you see black veins begin to sprout from like that area as his mouth is starting to froth and everything. But in his last act of like stability and consciousness is that he thrusts forward with his pole arm and finds purchase as it like nicks this guy essentially on the side as this assassin sort of groans, and this guard will take another 9 damage, which is going to knock him to dying status. So he falls at your sort of feet. Now this assassin, or sorry, the guard, before he actually falls to the ground, he will take out ascending stone that you can clearly see and put it to his mouth and sort of be like, the queen's in danger, send help, like help out. And then he just, as he's unable to finish anything else. But sure enough, over by Dia and Jackson, you can hear that guards, and you also have ascending tone of the same like communication chime in with that distress call essentially. So going over to the queen's chambers, the assassin then like kind of like looms over you, and it seems like he's trying to decide whether or not to kill you, but he ends up using like a phase step essentially in order to like pop from where he was to the window seal, and then he'll creepily take a finger and then put it to his blood where the wound that you caused, and then lick it and then be like, until we meet again, Highness. And then he just like, and he leaves. Now you are at your feet is this dying guard who's
Did I see his face? Did I see anything about him other than the tattoo?
the only thing you saw was the tattoo at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see that he has it seems to be like dark brown sort of flesh. From what you can tell, he seemed to be maybe human, maybe half elf, maybe half orc, something around there, but that's what you can sort of see. Yeah.
Okay. How tall
And-
are they?
Right. So yes, so combat is over as he is apparently like completely, vanished from the windowsill and all that kind of stuff. The
Hmm.
distress call causes everyone to go into a clamber as various guards. I assume Dia and Jackson, you're gonna go and check on the queen.
Oh, immediately when that happened, I was just waiting for you to like. I didn't.
Yeah,
know
go for it.
if-
I appreciate it. If you ever need to do
So-
anything, just put your fingers up and then
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if we it was kind of like a transition to something else. So
Right.
that's why I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't want to interrupt. Yeah. So Dia immediately upon hearing that would basically give a signal for the leader, like the head of obviously the guards that
Yeah.
were currently monitoring the event, and also to like probably the second next in line to him,
Yeah.
like a lieutenant type, to
Yeah.
basically go like it was a specific signal to the strongest of the guards to
Mhm.
go with her, but she starts like without even saying anything to Jackson, with trident in hand, she
Yeah.
starts running to go in that direction.
Everyone Naruto runs to the queen's chambers as you guys emerge in this scene. Now you have about maybe I want to say like 20 seconds alone to yourself. Queen Eclipse, what would you like to do? You can see this guard is not having a great time as the
Okay.
poison is definitely seeping through his veins, and he's taking his last little like pained struggled breaths.
Let me think. Has he got a wound that is like bleeding out, or no, or just the poison?
He has one wound, which is the knife that the assassin threw, but it
Yeah.
seems like that blade was coated in the same sort of venom or poison that was
Okay.
intended for you as well. Yeah, but you resisted.
Okay. Is it a liquid poison? by any chance?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tear part of my top or whatever material wise.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use my water skin and try and get rid of as much of that poison as I can from the wound.
Sure. Do a
Even
medicine
though-
check, unless you have something else.
No, even though I'm struggling myself, but it's fine. That is a 19.
Okay. With the 19, you are able to like coat your blade with water skin and all that kind of stuff, and like try to like stop the bleeding. And you remove the blade and you try to like hold the and whatever you try to do or whatever. It buys this guard like maybe a minute extra of life as you're trying hard, as he's like beginning to shake and shudder, and he goes like, I took this job as simply another like a second job essentially to try to get more money for my family, and my wife told me that it was going to be dangerous, but I like told her nothing would ever happen to me, and he's like, and she kind of like coughs up a little blood.
And I'm
He's
gonna
like-
hold his hand, like I clasp his hand and hold on to it, I grip onto it, and I say, "Hold on, man. What's your name? Give me your name."
He goes, my name is Nihad, and then he kind of like looks and he goes like, holy shit, the queen knows my name, as he kind of like revels in that, and yeah.
Nihad, you need to hold on, okay? Hold on for help. Hold on, and we'll get you some healing, okay? Just hold on. Just focus.
Now
Yeah.
you tell him that as your own like side is like gushing sort of blood, as it's
Yeah.
kind of like So and then after these 30 seconds, everyone and their mother like rushes into this
Okay.
room. So you see Dia, you see Jackson, you see clerics and priests and Bruce and everyone as they tend to you guys.
And I yell, "Help the god first. Help him of us."
So Dia, you're the first one to enter, I assume.
Yeah. You heard the queen. To the guard. Assist him now. And then she's gonna head over to the queen, and she's like, what happened?
There was
How
an
did this
assassin.
happen?
There was an assassin in my room. He
That
snuck
means
up
that
behind
the
me.
guards did not check your chambers before you entered?
Dia, now is not the time. We need to make sure the guard is
I know,
okay.
it's already being taken care of. I need to focus on your injuries right now. Oh, and then she realizes that she had already used up some of her healing, which we didn't do a rest, did we? Not a long
no, not yet.
rest.
Yeah.
So basically, because she had already used up some of that from before when she wanted to open a said diary or journal, Dia is basically going to still try to see where the major wound is,
Yep.
and she's going to take both of her hands, and then of course a glow emanates around, like it's kind of a reddish. It almost looks like fire, but it's basically, it burns like fire, but it doesn't hurt the person. It just looks as if a fire has been set ablaze, and she's gonna heal her for 4 hit points.
That works. So in this world, paladins are very privileged. It takes a lot of money to send someone to go to paladin training, to learn how to heal and all that kind of stuff. Clerics also require like a lot of dedication, a lot of time, and a lot of energy, and TR does not have access to a lot of those like sort of resources. There is one like older cleric that kind of like comes in and he's like, I've got this, and he like looks over to the guard and just kind of like looks at his wounds, but already he is like seizing and like dying, and he goes like, unfortunately there's nothing we can do for him, as he just kind of like closes his eyes and like says a small prayer to like Bahamut, and then heads over to you, where he will give you like a healing word and all that kind of stuff, and be able to restore about 12 hit points to you. And you're muted.
Said you had one job to save that guard. One job. That was it.
And unfortunately, it seems like 42-year-old Nihad survived by his wife and 3 kids. So this guard is like taken out in a way as everyone focuses on you to make sure that you're okay, with bandages, with like as much healing as they can, sort of provide. And the guards are like, doubled, as Bruce is like, search the entire kingdom. No one leaves this, the city. Put the walls, up and everything like that, as you.
And we will discuss the fact that you guys were not at your post and actually checking her chambers. We'll discuss this later.
The guards like freak out a little bit as they're like they did not believe the situation could ever happen. As they're like, yes, General. As they begin to like go for it.
As it's too late, honestly, with the assailant and the abilities of this assailant. I'm sure they escaped already. They were a possible fellow rogue with the skill that they had, even higher level than me.
But even the most skilled of rogues can still leave a trace.
They can, and this
Especially
one had
this one
a
who got
mark.
sloppy.
This one had a mark. This one was cocky. They had an ego for sure. Yes, they had a. I talked to Dia and Jackson personally, quite directly, quietly. I say, this one had a raven tattoo on their neck. That is all I can know. That's all I know.
Should we let the guards and police know about the marking in case they're able to find this person?
And
Or
really quick, Jackson, do you want to do something?
Jackson, you know what? Jackson will ask after this. Right now, the queen has spoken, so the Raven is the thing. So Jackson
Okay.
will ask later.
Something will happen, but Dia, go ahead and continue.
or maybe if he had an accomplice or something, at least we would then know what we're looking for.
He was
they would.
bleeding. He was bleeding. I hurt him. I'm sure there is a trail of somewhere if he was dripping. Possibly we can find.
At this moment, you definitely notice that Eclipse is sweating profusely. She looks extremely pale as a ghost, and it seems that not all of the poison she resisted, as she begins to like her eyes roll back in the back of her head and then passes out essentially. And the scene will end there a little bit as Eclipse wakes up in her bed. And it seems like Bruce is the only one that's sort of there, and along with servants who like kind of like notified him. And as he kind of like sits by your bedside, and he goes like, "Well, you had a very interesting coronation. Like, gotta say, you know how to bring the drama." As yeah,
Very funny, old man. I feel like crap. Did we get that tequila? Can I please?
and he one of the servants will like, you can see that she obviously has a medical sort of like symbol on her hat, and she's like, I wouldn't advise that. As Bruce like kind of waves her away and goes like, you're unfortunately the poison, like, it's not hurting you, but it's left you a little bit paralyzed, and you're recovering from it, but you're not totally 100% right now. So like, no alcohol, no high sodium foods or anything like that for now. So we're gonna go ahead and just let you rest. Now, I do want to be real with you that we've been searching high and low for this assassin. We did find some traces of him, but unfortunately he escaped through the night. We're having our historians and our like the spy master Relvin is working on trying to find anything with a raven sort of like tattoo or like emblem on them. But this might be too much. So if you want another day to rest, you can, which they expect you to might be fully, able to do everything tomorrow. But the nation does need you to make some decisions. Now, Jackson and Dia and Relvin are working hard on helping you out and filling your shoes, but they are making decisions without your, consent, essentially. They are very capable, so I trust in their decision making and everything, but the people need to see you, and they need to make sure that you're like okay. But if you don't feel up to it, you can absolutely take another day, because if you get attacked again, you may not be able to fend them off like you were before.
Bruce, you're such a snooze. And I'll like, am I actually like physically paralyzed? Can I move?
You can move, but it's very exhausting. Yeah, you can like, you try to like, sit up and you feel like weak, like your body's 100 pounds, like 300 pounds. Yeah.
Okay. Can you summon my peoples, please? Just, I want to speak to Dia and Jackson and Robin, please.
And he kind of tells you that unfortunately they're occupied in the throne room, like seeing the commoners and different people and all that. If you'd like to, you can visit them to head over there. We have a wheelchair for you if you wherever you'd like to go for this time. But for right now, like, you can decide to rest or you can decide to continue forward.
I'm gonna get in the wheelchair and I'm gonna like wheel myself before he can actually like hold on to the handles.
Okay,
So I'm gonna try and take my way towards the other three.
perfect. So he goes, like, it takes a lot of courage to be able to do this in your state. So, like, whenever you want to back out and whatever you feel like you can't do it, just let me know and we'll go straight back to your room so you can rest. But,
I am no wuss, Bruce. That is one thing I am not. I am not a wuss.
perfect. So, as you're wheeling your way over to with accessibility ramps, because TR has them, as you're heading over to the throne room to be able to help out, Dia and Jackson are already there currently. Now, in these 2 days, it's been all sorts of chaos. You guys are exhausted, more so Dia than probably Jackson, because Jackson, you're the coin master, whereas Dia is like getting all the information from the guards, like searching everyone, doing all these sort of like interrogations and all that kind of stuff. So you're pretty exhausted from all this. So, um,
And her throat is probably almost to the like she's probably talking kind of like this because she's been yelling at the guards
constant tea and honey is
because
like,
she's
yeah.
so upset that they were so incompetent.
You sign angrily as you're like,
Because
yeah.
we
So-
know sign language.
Exactly. So, now you guys are gonna get the first little bit, and then the queen is gonna enter. So what's happening at this moment is that you see that there are three very important figures that are around now. By your sides are Tomba, which is your second in command, Dia, and then also I believe it's Sabaka. Let me see here.
Baraka.
Or Baraka, yeah. Which is your like sort of second in command and all that kind of stuff. Go for it. You're fine. Yeah. And so at this moment, there are one, two, yeah, there's three major things. Now, Tomba goes to you guys and leans in and says, like, now there are a lot of commoners and you guys have seen, them, but we just got notified that there are three important figures that are here. Now, you guys can choose which one you guys want to speak with first. They understand that things are really stretched thin and the queen is like, healing and on the mend. So it's completely fine to only choose one for right now and let the others, because these seem very involved. But one of them seems to be a series of priests wanting to know which religion the queen is going to actually choose to be the national like sort of religion. And apparently they have all sorts of boons and restrictions that they want to discuss with you guys in detail. Two, there seems to be a representative from the rebels of TR to want to talk about the issues that the commoners are having with the crown and try to find a peaceful resolution to all of this. And the third one seems to be some like a baron from like a local community who has concerns about some sort of threat to his lands and various other sort of lands that they need to discuss. So I just need to know, like, which one of these three would you like me to have talk to you guys first? Once again, the priests, the baron, or the representative from the rebels.
My lady Dia, how is your voice right now? And please don't answer if it's rough. Please. You can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
It will be fine.
Hmm.
It's as long as I talk at a lower volume. It's fine.
Indeed. We have three different groups here. Whom would you
The
feel?
priest shall wait. That is not a precedence right now. Not
indeed.
with everything that's going on.
Understood. What I will do, I will let the priests know that we will handle them. That is a question that we cannot answer. Perhaps it is best if we handle either the rebels or the Baron first.
We should probably speak with the rebels because then at least we know what sorry, what demands they're talking about and or requests or whatever, but also too maybe it'll give us some insight and we can possibly find who's been causing a lot of the recent events.
Indeed, but it may behoove us to talk to the Baron first. Our people do need to be taken care of, and while I understand that we do have a problem on our hands, we must think of the general welfare of our community. And if we do not solidify our home, how can we hope to look at others? The rebels, perhaps they can wait.
I think that is the problem, Jackson, is that they have felt like they have waited long enough for answers, and we don't want to. Let's just say, if we can get information that could actually put an end to things,
Mm.
don't you feel like that's necessary? And I mean, they, so I don't know if it was possibly someone in their party who attacked the queen. We still
Perhaps.
haven't gotten to the bottom of it. So if
Perhaps.
we at least know what is going on
Hmm.
in their midst, and at least show that we're trying to make an effort to make amends.
Understood. Say no more. Allow me to at least let the other parties know that we will handle them with due time. I'll
Just
bring.
make sure that the Baron, because I'm pretty sure I probably know this Baron. Just
Yes.
make sure that they are put in a nice room with charcuterie and wine and just entertainment.
Yes, I will. I will make sure the Baron has charcuteries to have. Yes.
Charcuterie.
Yes.
Shark coochies.
Yeah. So, I would like to at least approach the Baron and the group of priests. Do we have separate areas for them to be seated in, or is there just one general waiting area?
There's like essentially one general. Well, there's like the fast lane, which are for the prominent people, and then there's a commoner lane, which is like various farmers or people from town, merchants, and all kind of stuff with various sort of squabbles and all that kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. I'd at least like to address the Baron and the Baron and the priests. Uh, we will hear you shortly. Yes, I understand. Please, we do appreciate your patience here, and please understand we will attend to you with the utmost expediency. There is one party ahead of you. One party ahead of you both, so we will handle as soon as possible. Please, though, again, we appreciate your patience, and Jackson's going to turn to the rebels and motion for them to, I guess, approach where
sure.
yeah.
And Tomba. So yeah, they because of the situation, Tomba and the other guards that are kind of stationed here will not let you guys get close to anyone.
Okay.
Yeah, they will like summon them to like a certain area that they're allowed to
Okay.
go towards. Yeah. So
Very good.
the Baron looks frustrated and he goes like, "What do I pay my taxes for?" As he kind of like just seems very frustrated. He looks very portly. He seems to be a we're gonna say a dwarf. As he's just like fumbling around. The priests are murmuring with each other.
Does,
Definitely don't.
does Dia know this particular Baron?
Go ahead and roll a history check on a 10 or above. We're gonna say yes.
Mm,
Actually, you know nobles. We'll say a 6 or above.
nice.
Okay, yeah. Wait, you said history?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a 8.
8. Perfect. That works. So you know this is Osman. Now he is from a sort of wealthy family. Now you know him to be a good man. That like his family has always been honorable, always been noble, always served the crown and the throne, and always they're of a calm temper. So for him to be frustrated seems to be abnormal. Like something really must be eating away at him that's causing this stress. So it's not his normal self.
So Dia will motion for and let Tomba know to have the Baron briefly talk to her while Jackson is leading, or like Jackson is basically heading in the direction with the rebels, just briefly to talk to him, so that way he can be calm down a
Sure.
little bit. So once Dia gets him to the side, it's been quite some time, as you know. Sorry. It's been a busy time.
Jackson is going to motion to one of the servants. Tea and honey, please. Tea and honey.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
But either way, right now we are having to prioritize getting as much information as we can regarding the Queen's attack. Now, I understand it does not mean that your issues are any less important. I just want you to know that we do value, obviously, we value your family and the people, Baron. You know this. You know that we have always honored any type of request. So just know that we're going to keep you entertained and well fed. And trust me, the time will fly by quickly. There's no need to fret.
And uh Baron Osmond will kind of like bow deeply to you as he knows you. Like you like pretty much grew up with him essentially. As he goes oh, I didn't see that. Okay. Uh yeah, if you can tell Eddie that he's cool to jump in, whatever, that's like totally cool. So the Baron will like look to you and
I could do
devout.
persuasion if necessary. I want to try to like calm him down.
He seems calmed by your presence, as he goes like, General Dia, I cannot believe that like there is no better person to lead this military than you. That is why I seek your aid like heavily. It will only take me like 5 minutes to plead my case, to you, as I'm a man of like short words and all that, but I'm in desperate need of assistance. And
Again, we understand, and trust me, you will have our ear. But right now, we are having to handle a situation that needs immediate attention. So I will make sure that you are next in line. And in the meantime, please enjoy the pleasantries that we've prepared for you in the other room. They will direct you and your people there, and we will be right with you. I promise.
and you see him famous for his temper, just like you. He tries his best to like calm himself down, but ends up like like finding it in him to be like, I understand you're under a lot of stress, and I will do as you say. As he gives you a nod, with like an honorable sort of nod, and then like
And
essentially
your
wait outside.
favorite wine is in there.
And yeah, he's guided by the guards to like lead him to the area, as the wines are as the priests are like, hey, as they're all like, yeah. So what we're gonna do really quick to give me an excuse to be able to redo these overlays is we're gonna take our 10-minute break,
Nice.
super fast. So thank you guys for being here. If you're enjoying the show and like to show like support, feel free to throw tips during the like tip donation thing. Feel free to follow the cast on their social medias to show their support as well. And we will be back in about like 10 minutes.
Going on my channel right now. We're doing horror month for October. Anyways, hi everyone. I'm Eddie, otherwise known as the Discount Bard. I'm at Discount Bard on all the various social medias. I'm a TTRPG performer, streamer, overall creative person, and also just a real life jack of all trades, master of none. I am here today playing Relvin Yanlius, who is our local spy master who seems to have risen through the ranks out of nowhere and is very intent on being very secretive about his actual origin.
Nice. Who's gonna get a wild scene soon. So going over to the star of Port Saga, Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm the star. I'm not the star point. What's up? I'm Andrew J. Landy, aka Duralath. You can find me Instagram and Twitter at Andrew J. Landy, or for fighting games, Twitter at Duralath, or twitch.tv/Duralath, where I stream fighting games and some roguelikes as well as some horror games for October. And yes, I am the voice of Dante Mendoza in the audio drama Port Saga, Vampire the Masquerade Port Saga episodes every Thursday. So episode 3 is coming out tomorrow. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. That's again Vampire the Masquerade Port Saga, wherever you get your podcast. That's Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, etc., etc. But we're gonna have some fun tonight.
Perfect. Okay. So, well, actually, we'll go through this and I'll admit fault. So going over to Rising Valkyrie, go ahead and tell us how amazing you are.
Hi, Jess. You can find me at Rising Valkyrie on Instagram and at Rising Valkyrie J on Twitter, which I barely use. So good luck if you do check that out. I'll be in Phoenix by Night season 2 on D'Angelo's channel at the end of this month, starting. And I've got a podcast I did on the Bearded Nerds. You can find on Spotify and all the other places. It'll coming out soon at some point. Check out my Instagram for when that does pop. But yeah, I'm just here chilling, playing Eclipse today, who fell into her queenship somehow, but here she is in a wheelchair, poisoned.
She survived, but paralyzed, and like, yeah, so it's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, and then going over to Utahime. Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Brianna, but many of you guys know me as Utahime, and I am a cosplayer, streamer, and TTRPG performer. You can find me at Utahime Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, here on Twitch, where I usually stream a variety of games. But this month, of course, is Spooktober, so we're doing lots of scary games, so you guys can see me scream like a baby. And then definitely check out Brianna DeCoster, where I usually keep on Twitter, where I keep everything up to date as far as my schedule for streaming and all the other TTRPG things that I'm a part of. And actually, I forgot earlier, but I will say it now, is that this Friday is the premiere of Agents of Nyx on Creators Assemble at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And another friend of ours, Just Too Casual, is also in that one as well. So definitely check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Think Suicide Squad, but like with Greek gods. There we go.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah. I can't wait till someone dies in that show so I can put in my application to like. Sorry. So my name is D'Angelo Murillo. This is my channel. Welcome, everyone. This is Tayyar, episode 2, a show with political intrigue where our players are the last remaining heirs of their sort of like bloodline, and they have been forced into these positions of power that they have to guide the nation of TR out of its darkest hour and try to survive financially, like physically, emotionally, all of these different things. And yeah, so one thing I want to mention is that we actually have a sponsor and a giveaway we're doing tonight, which I totally spaced on at the beginning of this episode. It is Umbra Oculus, who are conjuring relics from beyond the veil for you to enjoy at your gaming table. They, which is Valruk, our wonderful friend Taryn, hand pours and polishes artesian dice. You can go to ko-fi.com/uo_dice to check out the shop. They do have a sale going on actually today. That way you can go and like check out their stuff, and it's amazing. It's beautiful dice. We have a D20 that we're actually giving away. So to enter it, what you're gonna do is put !Jackson into chat. The cast can enter as well. We'll see if Utahime can do it, win twice in a week, twice in a row. So to spell Jackson is JAXSON. It's gonna be !Jackson. So go ahead and try to enter, and then at the end of the episode, we will go ahead and do it. Also, you can help me find who we're going to raid at the end of the night. So if you have any sort of channels that you think would be really cool, feel free to put them in chat. And at the end of the episode, we'll go ahead and try to like raid someone who's awesome and doing cool things and all that. So yeah, it should be good. So, all right. Because Eddie is here, we're going to proceed with his scene as you are, well, I don't know how you are. So I'm going to just like, we're going to flashback because in the throne room, Queen Eclipse is in her wheelchair being wheeled over to that area as Jackson and Dia are discussing with the Baron and the priests and the representative from the rebels to see who they're going to talk with first and go over all that. And somewhere in your chambers, I assume that you're in your room recovering. Potentially, I don't know what's going to happen. So you are, we'll say, lying in your bed as you're thinking about what's happened in these past couple days and that fateful night. Right before you hear the bells toll, letting everyone know that the queen was assaulted, and the guards were swarming the area to try to figure out what was going on and all that kind of stuff. What happened when you left the throne room, the great hall, the dinner banquet, and all that kind of stuff was you and your second in command, Barrow, went to go to the dungeons to check out the rebels who had been captured to speak with them. So the spy master Relvin, you go and you walk in the streets of like the Tayyar's upper sort of city as you're making your way to the dungeons where the rebels are held. As you guys approach, Barrow seems to like tug on your robe just very slightly. Um, yeah,
Yes. What is it?
you can see that he signs to you, and it's kind of like hurried motion. That you guys like something's off here as you are approaching two guards that are like sort of eyeing you guys, standing at attention and all kind of stuff. And down below is the dungeon as they go like, oh, spy master, as one of them immediately rushes down and then opens the two double doors and like stands at attention and for you.
As noted, one other point of interest is that I am carrying with me a small package that is containing the prepared food from the rations that we had uh, sanctioned off for our unexpected guests, since this is also doubling as an opportunity to check for any possible contaminants.
Sure, absolutely. So, what would you like to do at this moment? Would you like to talk to the guards, observe the area more, proceed down into the dungeons? What would you like to do?
I'm going to take a moment to pause prior to proceeding past the guards and check in with them. Has the night been quiet?
What is your past perception or insight?
Passive perception or insight? Perception is slightly better at 13.
13. Okay. With 13 to your passive, was that insight?
Insight's 11.
11. Okay. 11 to 13. Got it. So with your passive perception, you can definitely see that these guys look pretty rugged, pretty tough, pretty like capable with a blade, as they kind of look to you in a very nonchalant sort of manner and be like, the night's been fine, it's been well quiet, it's not too bad at all, kind of chilly, as they kind of like look to one another and like nod in agreement sort of thing, and as one of them holds the doors open for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was my
Second
my
in
partner in
command,
crime's name?
Barrow.
Barrow, that's right. Oh, Barrow, would you mind hanging tight here for just a moment? I think I remember that we might be expecting one more as well. Could you just stand by and hang tight while I go down and question our guest?
And he goes, of course, whatever you need. And then he like gives a bow as he waits to the top of the stairs, because this is a staircase that descends a little bit, maybe about like 5 feet, as it goes to two double doors that are being opened. That way you can like proceed down. And so Barrow is upstairs, like, and has, you can see a very well placed hand on the hilt of his sort of blade, just looking like it's resting there, but you can tell he's like definitely prepared for anything.
Mm-hmm.
As and yeah.
And I will proceed down the stairs.
Okay, perfect. You head into the sort of dungeons as you see it's like mostly empty. There's a couple like people that are like sort of changed the walls. There's a blood splattered an area where that's dried from like quite a bit of time ago, that it smells rancid, that you can't scent you can't quite place. But sure enough, you do see like a group of people. There seem to be like 7 people that are in one of the cells, the largest cell, and they all get up and go to the bars, and they're like, "Hey, who's there?" As they kind of yell out, and you can tell with your 11 insight, it seems to be a little bit of panic and fear.
I am going to ignore them, proceeding towards my intended goal of whoever it is that I'm supposed to be meeting.
It's going to be the rebels. Yeah, so that's
Oh,
group
it's
7.
all of them. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
There's nothing to be concerned about. I come bearing gifts, and I'm going to proceed up to the bars out of arm's reach if they were to try to reach through, but basically place the plate on the ground where they could potentially get to it.
Okay, perfect. So you undo it and you grab like various pieces from the charcuterie board, crackers and bread and jam and all that kind of stuff. And some of them like, take it and they immediately like eat it, and as some of them are like, kind of like scarfing it down, one of the guys who seems to be a dragonborn, a green dragonborn, like just looks to you. He looks pretty gnarly as he has like only one eye that operates, the other one's grayed out and has various scars and kind of missing a couple teeth or fangs. As he looks to you and goes like, something's not right here. Like there's supposed to be more guards down here. We've been in jail multiple times. It's never been like this. And he goes like, the guards haven't checked on us. They haven't given us any water. Like you better check those guards out there because they're acting pretty weird. And he just talks with you with no respect and kind of spit talking to you. Yeah.
If there are concerns as to the level of comfort, it will be addressed. You are our guests here, after all, and I came offering a peace offering. Perhaps you might be able to answer a few questions, and then we will address some of these concerns.
So he sort of like the food is on the floor and everyone's kind of like grabbing at it and all kind of stuff and like stuffing their face with it, and he out of anger he kicks the food like away and kind of like onto the center of the room, and he goes like, you're not listening to me, there's something wrong here. And sure enough, out of the like your peripherals, hearing the echo, you can hear Barrow like kind of call out to you and go like, spy master, as you suddenly hear the doors, like there's scuffling that's happening outside, and you look over. Do you look over?
Sure.
Okay. You look over, and we're gonna say, with your hand on your blade, whatever you'd like to do. As you look over to see, there is a robed figure that's kind of like twisting their hands in a certain way, and then from his hands come a fireball that erupts in your direction in front of everyone. As you hear the sound of the Dragonborn and the rebels kind of be like, get to the ground, and then they're like freaking out. So I'm gonna need you to make a dexterity check.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. All right.
Dexterity saving throw is going to be 17.
Good. Okay, perfect. And you did earn an advantage. So whenever you'd like to pop that, you absolutely can.
Excellent.
So you're only going to take half damage from this. So we'll go. Uh, so 22. So divided by 2 is 11. So you're going to take 11 damage.
I'm actually going to use my reaction to absorb elements on that.
Perfect.
So have that again.
So we'll go to 5 damage then.
Okay.
Yeah. As fire and flames erupt in this dungeon, igniting all these sort of things that are around, barrels and rodents and all that kind of stuff. And you see some of the people in the place get singed, as you see like one guy was trying to reach for more bread and then got like totally his arm like melted. He's like, ah! As this place is filling up with smoke, still on fire and everything like that. And you, as a spy master, were given a set of keys that are able to unlock multiple doors, including the dungeon keys and all that kind of stuff. So the rebels are like yelling to you to be like, you gotta let us out, you can't let us like burn in here. As you look over to the doorway, as you can clearly see that there is a scuffle that's happening outside. Because Barrow is out there, he's essentially fighting those two guards or whoever's out there, and the door is not locked yet, and it's like kind of clattering open and shut. Yeah.
How far is it from where I am currently to the door that I came down?
20 feet.
Can I see the door from where I am?
Yes. Yeah, you have clear line of sight.
Cool. What I would like to do then, if you will allow it, is I would like, first of all, is there any other entrance or exit to this building that I'm aware of?
Not that you're aware of. You can do a history check to try to see if you can remember any sort of alternate exit. Yeah, go for it. You'll need a 14 or higher.
Well, alas, my knowledge of history is not so good. That was a 5.
5? Okay. Yeah. At this moment, panic and hysteria is kind of filling you as the fire is sort of spreading to multiple areas of the room. Or they're, of course, yelling at you, and you don't know what's happening outside. So go for it.
Okay. So is the assailant still in the room with me, or have they already?
What they did was the spellcaster shot out a firebolt, and then they closed the door behind it. Essentially, their goal was to lock you out, but it seems like Barrow is fighting them off enough to keep it from locking it out. Yeah.
I see. So the assailant is not still in the room with me. Okay. Boy. Yeah, I'm sorry. Uh, Relvin is more concerned with what just happened than with our occupants down there. We're gonna misty step outside the door, please.
Okay. So you misty step outside of the door as it opens just slightly enough so you get line of sight, and you're just like, and you teleport outside of it. You feel a bit of an explosion and can hear the sounds of people yelling after you down there as it's engulfed in sort of like fire and flames. As you make your way out to see Barrow is fighting like single handedly and doing a fair job, but there's 3 against 1 essentially as he's like trying his hardest to fend them off. So go ahead and give me initiative.
Okay. Initiative will be an 18.
18. Okay. Good. Relevant. And then the bad guys. Okay, so go ahead and you're first. So you're gonna see 3 people. Right beside you is a spellcaster that did this attack like to you, the fireball, and then the 2 others are pretty like heavily armored fighter looking folks.
Heavily armored looking fighter folks, and we have Barrow. How close together are our 3 folks?
They're all on this like 5 foot sort of staircase. So they're like, so you're at the bottom and they're at the top, and they're all spread apart. But yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so I would like to grab. I'm gonna run up to Barrow. I am going to cast darkness on the area.
Okay. Darkness engulfs the entire area. As yeah. And anything else for you?
After doing so, I would like to grab Barrow and try to pull him with me to get out of there.
Okay, perfect. Uh, Barrow is a hex blood, which is super dope, but I don't know. I assume that they have dark vision. Oh, this is magical dark though, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. So they can't. Okay, never mind. Yeah. So he seems like ready to fight and everything like that, but you touch him. And is there anything you like to do or say to let him know that it's you?
Run, you fool.
Okay, he recognizes your voice and he like follows behind. As you guys emerge from this sort of darkness, you can see that there are 3 other assailants that are like soldier looking like type of figures. These ones look clad in different armor. They don't seem to be the royal sort of, not royal guard, but like town guard gear and all, but it's just sell swords mercenaries. But to your like surprise, you do notice that there are a group of the Harrowin like sort of like group members that are kind of like across the street that sort of notice this commotion, and immediately they spring into action as they try to assist you as they take out their like whalebone weapons and their various stone sort of like weapons, and they're very foreign to you, but still you appreciate that they are coming to your sort of aid. And for the sake of time, we're gonna say that they like essentially with your guys' aid beat the shit out of everyone, and by the time you guys are able to escape this, you do take a couple licks to you, but unfortunately the dungeon has burned down and everyone in it has passed away. Those group of rebels. But you are able to survive as they escort you to the castle, and right around that time, you guys hear the bells toll and everything. That the queen has been like hurt and attacked. And since then you've been like struggling to keep all your work going and all kind of stuff, and everything that happened you're still processing it, because like whatever your history was, that was a lot of trauma to like go through, from almost being like killed yourself and everything. So now at this time I'm going to let you decide, would you like to go to the throne room with everyone else to be able to help out, because you know that you were invited, but everyone is giving you like time to process if you need it. Yeah.
My loyalty is to my queen. It would be remiss in not attending.
So you head out in the hallway just in the moment to see the Queen Eclipse, who's been wheelchair bound for temporarily, as she's still recovering from the toxicity of the attack and everything. You guys see each other.
Hello, Robin.
Your
You,
Grace.
you seem a little worse for wear.
I may have had some better days. It seems Your Grace has had some struggles as well.
Yes, it appears so. I survived. I survived. It's okay. Um, what happened to you?
Well, it seems that the rebels were unpopular with more than just us. There was an attempt on my life, and they took the rebels with them.
And
See.
you can choose one grievous wound to have. It doesn't affect you mechanically, but whether it be burn marks or stabbing or what have you on you, Relvin, from that night.
Uh, so I'm going to say that, curiously enough, even though it seems like he should have received a grievous wound of some sort, it's not visible.
Okay, perfect. Lots of
Perhaps
makeup, magical makeup.
perhaps it was a distraction on my attempt. I'm not sure. I am quite apologetic from what you had to go through, Robin.
It is not the worst I've experienced. I'm merely glad that Your Grace is okay.
I'm glad you're okay too. I know we've had our differences, but I'm glad you're here. I need to speak with you, Jackson and Dia. We must convene. We never had that meeting.
Speaking
Of
of
course,
which,
Your Majesty.
over in the throne room, Dia and Jackson, Dia just got done talking with the Baron, letting him know, like, go to your room. We'll talk to you in a little bit. As Jackson summons forth the member of the rebels, which was perfect timing because I didn't know how you guys would handle that situation. So he is this member of the rebels. He like steps forward. He looks like a commoner. He looks like a farmer essentially, in very tattered like sort of clothes. As Tomba says, like, you like, I understand that you this man claims to represent the rebels here in TR and speaks for them. His name is Asif, apparently. As this man, normally everyone bows to you guys, out of respect and all that stuff, but he does not bow at all. As he takes off his sort of hat and holds it as a sign of respect to like downwards, as he gives like a nod, and he seems very sweaty. He seems very nervous, and yes. So Jackson or Dia.
You had business. I understand you have concerns, and on behalf of the Queen, I don't. I don't want to speak too forward, but again, we want to hear what the people are saying. Please, what concerns do you have?
Uh, Persuasion.
Hmm.
If the queen has entered, Dia would be going to, after answering and saying, "Of course, Your Majesty," going to her side, and at the same time looking at the gentleman, but like also too kind of like with a raised eyebrow. But then she has the trident like in her hand, standing strong next to the queen.
19, by the way.
19. Good. You seem very genuine and authentic. Now, at this time, we will say that the queen does enter along with Relvin by her side and everything.
Did we get a long rest?
Yes, it's been
Oh,
2 days, so
thank
you guys are full HP,
Yes.
full everything. Yeah, and
Me too?
yep,
Yeah, okay.
you're still paralyzed in your wheelchair, RP wise, but mechanically you still got everything. Even
Okay.
as like your martial RP, you still have your rapier and you can shoot everything.
Oh yeah.
So okay, so you guys enter as you kind of like everyone kind of like bows to you and gives you everything, and like pays you respect and everything. So this young man who seems to be only about maybe 17 years old, a tiefling and everything, he clears his throat and he's like, uh yes, I represent the rebels here in TR. We're concerned citizens, and I've come here as a sign of diplomacy. I know that a lot of people, the nobles and people in the upper city, kind of think less of us and think that we are savages and rabble rousers, but we're not. We care about the community, and it is our belief that the queen prior to you did not care about a people, as she gave us high taxes. Our buildings and roads are broken and shambled, and our education is like very lackluster compared to what it is in the upper city, and we're just trying to find equality, and we hope that this new rulership, as he seems really nervous and he cannot maintain eye contact with Queen Eclipse, who is entered in, and there's been a lot of murmurs and rumors going around about what happened to the queen. Like, people think she's dead and they're covering up. People think that, it was a betrayal from the inside, all this sort of stuff. But he continues forward and is like, I have a list of demands, assuming that you want to make peace with the people, and if you truly do care, I hope that you'll hear us out. As he looks down at the ground now.
I say, okay, give me one moment. One moment. I turn to Bruce and I say, can you wheel me over to the throne, please, so I can sit on it?
Sure, he does so as he helps you out. Yeah.
And I turn to the tiefling and I say, come here, come closer.
Toma and the other guards do not allow him to get any closer than like 10 feet.
That's fine.
Yeah, so but he does get that close as Tomba and another guard have their weapons like drawn, essentially not taking any chances, as he looks extremely terrified and like risks a glance and then looks down like immediately. And yeah.
And I say, Dia, can you sort your guards out, please? We don't need any more aggression.
I will not have the queen repeat herself. Stand back.
And the guards are very hesitant, very reluctant, but Tomba just like motions them, and then they ease as they like step back, but hands are on their weapons and still keep a very strong eye on them. You feel safe that if anything happens, they will like slaughter this dude.
Dia will while this is happening, she's also taking a look around. She's basically kind of mumbling like under her breath, but she's popping off her divine sense to try to take a look in, as far as, just at because I know it's a group of rebels, and trying to make sure that basically there's no funny business, someone is like actually magical or like to a certain degree that we need to keep an eye on. So it's any celestial fiend, undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
Okay, perfect. You definitely do, Rowan?
Relvin is keeping a more physical eye around as well, being equally distrustworthy.
Go to roll and let me know what you get. For Dia, you definitely notice like a fiend that is near the back of the room, kind of hiding behind a sort of pillar. But then after that, kind of like goes back beyond like total cover. It's kind of shocks you a little bit because it seems you get the sense of a very strong presence of a fiend, but it's been here for a little bit. Like, it's been here for sort of a while, but you're surprised that you just barely sort of noticed it. Doesn't seem hostile, but it seems like it's definitely there. Yeah.
Does Dia have also one of the sending stones that usually they use as like their version of walkie-talkie?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so she will relay information. Keep your eye. There's a suspicious person, thing over near the pillar. And then she's gonna divert her eyes, but it's basically to Tumba to kind of let him know, like, to be aware, and like, for him to probably have some guards kind of like just monitor the area.
Sure. He'll call over guard, and they go immediately check out the investigate, as you see them in the corner of your eye, like moving over to do all that kind of stuff.
Be
so
subtle about it.
Because they're like, they were in the middle of like running, and then they like slow down. So
they're not the brightest tools in the shed.
Squeaky. You get what you pay for.
Yeah. So okay, Relvin, what'd you get?
That'll be for perception, right?
Yeah.
13.
13? Okay. Perfect. So with 13, you can definitely notice that the priests are getting agitated by this. And some of the commoners, about 60% of them are kind of like proud, in agreements, like praise the young tiefling for speaking out amongst the royalty. The other 40%, who seem to be nobles themselves, seem to be disgusted with the someone so common being in the presence of the throne and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. So it's definitely split, but it seems like the majority of them are in favor of this guy. So um, Queen Eclipse, is there anything you'd like to ask or say? Or so pretty much what he said prior was he has a list of demands and he hopes that you guys would hear them.
Yes. First, can I use my psionic power, the psychic whispers?
Sure, go for it.
So I'm gonna do it twice because I can only do up to 2 creatures. So I'm gonna do it twice, so I can have all 3 of us, all 3 of my peoples.
Okay.
So I'm spending 1 psionic energy point and then 1 for free. Perfect. So between all 4 of us, we now have an open channel, basically, mentally. And I'm also going to roll the d6s for how many hours that is. Okay, so it is. Oh, cool, perfect. So there were 2 5s. So 5 hours for all of us.
Perfect.
We got open
And
channel.
we're gonna say, just for flavor and fluff, that when you activate that, all of their pupils turn purple, like, you know, while this is sort of activated. So it adds a bit of a layer of intimidation to
Yes.
the room, as like, oh man, as and yeah. So the tiefling goes, but if you're busy and you don't want to hear our demands, I totally understand. As he begins to lose his cool and get weary at this whole situation.
I'll be leaning on like the arm of the throne, just casually, as my legs are like dangling, obviously. And I'll say, okay, what is your name, young sir?
And he to you he bows, as he now is in the presence of real royalty, and he does, like, he diverts to what his parents like taught him, and he goes, my name is Asif, and I am I work the fields. I'm from like I live in the lower city, and I just work tirelessly night and day to try to provide food for my family.
Asif, I must commend you on your courage of coming up to here and speaking your mind and your people's mind. Much appreciated, I'll say. Respected. Um, I'm gonna say mentally to all 3 of you, I'm gonna say I think we should fight for equality here. Possibly change taxes, and under specifically to Jackson, but we'll all hear it just so we all have the same information. I say, Jackson, I think we should change the tax laws of sorts for money, I guess. Lower tax income. I mean, if they make it fair between income and the amount of tax they are owed.
Mentally, I will relay that back. Your wish definitely will be done. We will figure out a way to ease the burden a bit on the I guess the lower and the middle class, while simultaneously making the upper class pay their fair and just due. We'll figure
Yes,
something
but
out.
just not piss them off too, because obviously we need loyalties.
Understood.
And be sure to heed caution as to how drastic these changes are. We do want to make sure that we don't become pushovers to the common
Indeed.
folk. Let's not
Indeed.
give them too much power over us.
Agreed, Robin. That is much agreed. I am worried though. We need all the people we can get, especially if we are going to start recruiting again for the army, correct, Dia?
That's correct. So at least if we are showing that we're trying to make an effort to listen to their needs and to try to meet them halfway, at least in some way, without angering the others, then I feel like it'll be much easier for them to come over to our side.
And at this moment, Tomba kind of like clears his throat and looks to Queen Eclipse, as you guys have all been like silent and just like staring, and like as you're having this internal conversation
Like,
with each other.
Oh yeah,
it's
this is
like
real
an
time.
eyebrow, like Dia's eyebrows are kind of like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
she's talking, but she's
Amazing.
not talking. Like nothing is happening. It's just like,
And,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And Tomba will be like, "Are you feeling okay, Your Highness?" And like,
Yes,
"Are you
yes,
all right?" Because they
yes.
don't know that you guys have a mental link. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay. I just missing my tequila. I will turn to the young tiefling and I'll say, okay, what are these demands? Do you have them on paper? Is it verbal?
And he says, yes, as he like reaches into his back pocket and pulls out a parchment and unfurls it, And from your guys' viewpoint, you can see that it's very like poorly written. Some words are misspelled. It's like, you know, very crude and all kind of stuff. And he even has he struggles to read it as he goes. The people of TR, especially in the lower and mid cities, would like 500 gold to be able to provide to help restore roads and buildings from various storms and sieges and all this kind of stuff that's left undone from the wars. We have been paying 5% taxes on every single purchase that we do, and all these sort of income taxes and everything, and it's supposed to go towards our schools and our roads and our everything to outfit us with the proper society, but we're just not seeing it. So we can only assume that it's being, you know, used for other things, as he kind of gestures, and you see that there are fine art in here, this place, and statues and, you know, all this sort of stuff that's very ornate. And he goes, we would like the taxes to be lowered from 5% to 2.5% to be halved. That way we can breathe and we can afford food for our families and everything. And he goes, lastly, we would like an end to the hostility and the affronts and the conflict to Harrowin. They've done nothing wrong. You know, we've heard that from different soldiers that have come through here and traders and merchants about, you know, that we were the aggressors in that situation. So why must we, you know, be so hostile towards them? They've been nothing but kind to sort of us. The stories have been told that they saved our new spy master Relvin, apparently, and they seem to be good people. So there's no reason we should like have closed borders with them or trade. And then
Dio
um,
in that psychic whisper will say, "Is that true?"
They may have been present at the time, although I cannot vouch for the circumstances of why they happened to be there.
Interesting.
You say to the young tiefling, okay, that seems to be quite a list you have.
So you know that just to help you out, and I'll make sure to write this out more, because it's gonna be like an in-depth sort of show. But for you guys currently, like I said, 5% is the tax rate for everything. You guys currently have in your coffers 7,500 gold, which the coin master knows, but you might not be aware of it. The monthly cost for TR is 2,000 gold. The taxes bring in 2,400 a month. And right now it's legal for brothels and drinking. What's banned is casinos, narcotics, witchcraft, public gatherings, and all this sort of stuff. So if you were to full blown like submit to their demands as they're asking for, it would cripple you guys unless you found alternate
Well,
solutions.
question: Are we taxing the brothels and the casinos?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have any casinos. They're not.
I mean, not casinos.
Yeah,
What was the
yeah.
other?
Oh, sorry.
What was the other?
Brothels and alcohol. So like tavern
Okay,
bars and all
but
that.
like the
Yeah.
bars, like they're basically paying taxes as well. I'm assuming.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, just so then I'm aware.
Okay. I turn and I say, okay, can you please hand over this list of demands to Bruce over here?
And Bruce walks over and then, you know, reaches out a hand, and the tiefling like nods and hands it over, not making eye contact with either of you guys, too scared to. And
Okay. So Tim, hold your head up high, shoulders up, legs shoulder width apart. You can look me in the eye. That's okay.
Persuasion with advantage or intimidation, whichever route you're going to try to go.
Oh no, I'll be nice.
You will with the eye. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you will. No, it's either one is the same shit, so it doesn't really matter. Right? With advantage, that is god awful. That's an 8.
8. Okay. In your weakened state, you struggle to say this to him, but out of respect, like he does do what you ask, because you're in such a weakened state. You've listened to him, and you've actually taken his parchment to consider his words and all that kind of stuff. So he pays you the respect you ask for. Yeah.
Yep. And I say, we are all people, aren't we? We are all humans, or not humans, but people, existing living beings. I will take these demands under consideration, and I will give some form of announcement considering these in a week's time.
And the tiefling gives a huge sigh of relief as he like bows deeply and goes, thank you, my queen. We hope to hear a positive response from you, as the guards then escort him sort of like out and all that kind of stuff. So Bruce leans over to you guys and kind of goes like, you handle that with grace. And like, it was kind of weird, the like 45 seconds of silence between you guys, but but still it was good. I would only recommend we see one more person of prominent status before you end this, to be able to rest, because
Your Majesty,
Yes.
I did promise the Baron that we would listen to his request as well, if you don't mind.
We shall listen to the Baron, but I would like an actual meeting with you three after this as soon as possible.
Of course.
Of course, my lady.
So the guards go over and get Baron Osman, as you had promised him. He has his goblet of wine that he really enjoys. He has a bunch of charcuterie that he brings to like, to you guys. He's like, I waited a long time. I'm gonna eat this. Like I'm gonna eat this. So he does bow to you, though, as he like has a servant that's also with him, his own servant, and he like hands him the stuff, and then he like cleans off his beard. He's a dwarf, and then he like bows to you, and he goes, "My queen, thank you so much for seeing me. I come to you in what might be my Hamlet's like darkest hour, as we have served the throne like faithfully for generations upon generations. My family, as Dia knows, has served like willingly. Our men and our women, our sons and our daughters serve the military, and without question, we pay our taxes on time and everything. But there has been a cave that has been near our lands that has undead that's been pouring out of it for years, and nothing has been done to it. The last queen, Queen Lorette, God's rest her soul, kept telling us that she would one day address the situation, but it never has come. And now their power is growing to the point where they're spilling out into our farms, and we can no longer, we already have very sparse farm hands due to the plague, but now they can't even do their work because they're being attacked, assaulted by skeletons and zombies and all these sort of weird creatures of necromancy. And my own town guards aren't enough to handle this threat. We need the support of the royal army to sort this out. Now, two things. I guess only one thing. So for Dia, you've been briefed on these past 2 days of how sparse and stretched thin the military is. Like, you barely have enough to protect the castle, the roads, and like the different guards at all the different like hamlets and all things around. So there's a couple options that you have like sort of in your mind, where you can either conscript soldiers, where being like, you're going to give us your firstborn or whatever to like serve us. Uh, or that you could personally see to this matter, and like take care of this sort of threat and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
you already know what the answer is going to be.
let them do it. It was like,
No.
yeah. So
She handles the business herself. So she's not afraid. Also, too, she already knows that her family, because of the deity that they serve, Kali, that she is more than capable with Kali's blessing to take care of some undead.
yes.
That's 5 minutes. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll handle that on my lunch break. Yeah. So so he
she
goes
kind of
like,
smiles because she's just thinking, like, she's basically during that time telling, like, she's smiling, and so the Baron thinks that she's smiling at him when really she's smiling about the situation, and she's like, Your Majesty, this is but child's play. Please let me, and it's okay if you give me at least one other person to go handle this matter. It'll be done within a day.
and the Baron like holds up a hand and be like, with all due respect, I don't believe just you and another person could handle this.
No, this was telepathically. He didn't
Oh,
hear
telepathic.
that.
Got it. Okay,
You didn't
Never
hear
mind. I
this.
retract that. So the Baron will look to you guys kind of like either make eye contact or like or not or whatever. But he'll go, we need support, and we need it soon, because if we are unable to tend to our crops, they will wither and they will die, and we're going to lose a whole harvest, and that's going to
How
mean
much support do you reckon you need?
he goes, we're going to need soldiers with like maybe, I don't know, like maybe 5 competent people, or if not, then like 15 like of like any sort of militia, and Bruce kind of leans over to you guys, and we're gonna say that Dia and uh Queen Eclipse are like right next to each other, seating wise or whatever. And Bruce will kind of lean over and be like, "Listen, I know that you are like recovering from a state of paralyzation and all that kind of stuff, but this may be a good like time to prove to the people that you have their back. If you like lead this charge, and obviously equip yourself with very like heavy amounts of
Oh, I was gonna go anyway.
and it goes like this would be an opportune moment to show the people that you're not an armchair like queen, but you're actually able to guide them. Something to
Oh,
consider
yeah.
as he leans back and
I'm gonna mentally whisper to like Jackson, Dia, and Robin, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go because it's something fun to do, and I kind of miss my bounty hunting days. So feel free to come if you'd like, but I'm sure, Dia, you'll come, right?
You are really bad at making jokes, Your Majesty.
If all due
I'm not
respect-
joking.
Of
With all
course,
due
I am
res-
going to be at your side.
With all due respect, Your Grace, is it wise to leave the castle at this point in time after a recent attempt on your life?
Some undead was not gonna kill me. I'll be fine.
It's
What
not
we
the
can-
undead that concern me.
Look, I trust if half of us would like to stay and the other half of us go, then we can have watch over the castle. Surely, Robin, you can do that as the spy master.
Well, perhaps it would be wise if Barrow remained here in my stead. I trust their capabilities quite well, and I
I'll leave
believe
Tomba
that
as
it would be
well.
wise to have. I'm curious to see the source of this undead infestation as to what may be the cause of it.
Tomba will assist Faro.
And Jackson?
Baraka will stay in my stead. I cannot leave the queen's side if she beckons.
So,
Okay.
Relvin, you do know that there are positive rumors that are coming out of the assassination attempt that just like the Rasputin thing sort of thing, where it's like, oh my God, she's unkillable. Like, and she uses magic. Like, is she like a witch, like a witch queen? Like, oh my God. And then they're kind of like, positive rumors of power.
I was gonna say positive rumors. Okay, cool.
yeah. Yeah.
Because I know witchcraft is not currently legal in our
yeah,
town, if I
It's
understand correctly.
witchcraft.
Just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's not cool. And then,
Okay, all right.
so,
Bruce
yeah.
says, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, you know that this would be, if it would only add to her like stature or status of power within the commoners and the nobles if she led the charge to deal with this personally. And Dia, you know that, and also like Jackson as well, that if you did not spend any extra resources on this and handled it yourself, pretty much DIY, it would save everyone a lot of time and money and energy. And yeah, so it's like killing multiple birds with one stone if you survive. And then,
Yeah.
There is no if.
Okay, I turn to the Baron and I say, we will handle this issue. No worries. It'd be handled by timeline.
We'll say that it's gonna take about like 2 days to reach there, so you could say like a week or something like that.
Okay.
and
It'll be handled within the week.
And then the Baron, who looked as though he was getting ready to like retort, and he's like, "Wow, oh, thank you." He's like, "Oh my God," and he goes like, you are gracious and you are kind and benevolent. I want to thank you so much. Our town guard will help out in any way we can to be able to assist this. We are." If we were able to handle this on our own, we would, and we would only come to you if we absolutely needed to. So thank you. And he seems extremely elated.
Don't worry, it's in capable hands. I'll be leading the charge myself.
As everyone gasps in surprise, as even Bruce is like, wow, nice job. So as you're in your paralyzed state, as your midsummer sort of like. Yeah. So
Dia does whisper, well, at least we'll have time to discuss the other matter with the rebels on the way there.
Yes, we must have that meeting. It is
Yes.
dire.
So at this moment, Bruce, or sorry, not Bruce, the Baron will thank you, do a very deep bow as he returns to his goblet of wine and like a charcuterie board, and then gets like shuffled off. And Bruce will step forward and be like, "I am so sorry. Various priests will have to address your concerns at a later time. The Queen must rest now. I will go ahead and address the rest of the stuff for the commoners and everything else for minor squabbles and conflicts. The Queen will now end her council. We'll have to convene to talk about this situation, as the priests are not happy about it, but they understand as they sort of walk away. And Bruce will just turn to you and be like, take all the time you need. The council room is there for you guys. If you need anything from me, I will be here. And take it easy. As he then like stands and goes like, next person, as they're like, my cabbages, as we just start. Yeah.
Avatar reference.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm gonna
Yes.
have to do now, right? I'm doing it.
Oh my god. So yes, there you go. Perfect. So really quick for you guys. We started 30 minutes late. Do you want to go 30 minutes longer, or would you like to end it now? Because I know Rising, you probably work tomorrow.
That's okay. I'm happy to go
it's
longer.
okay?
It's
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll only go for 30 minutes longer then. So you guys are exiting the actual throne room. You all give a sigh of sort of relief as you're done with politics and dealing with everyone, and you can head over to wherever you like to. Now, the council room is open for you guys, but you can always head to the Queen's chambers or wherever you'd like to. Yeah.
No, the council room is my chambers. We're having a sleepover party.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
It's a
In your
sleepover meeting. Yeah.
In your chambers, they moved over the table of like.
No. It's just gonna be the bed. Like it's just
Okay,
gonna be.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you head over to the Queen's chambers. There's 4 guards that are positioned there, and before you guys even get in there, they like totally examine the room and go to the balcony and check everything. And be like, it's clear, as they salute Dia and the Queen, and as you guys enter the Queen's chambers, and sure enough, there is a luxurious couch. There's a huge bed. There's a balcony. There's all sorts of things there. What would you guys like to do?
Dia's gonna do her own search again.
Just to get, hold on, wait a second. Yeah. Perception
Because
check. Yeah.
that's just Dia. She's gonna want to try to check and make sure that it's safe. Okay, let's see. So that's, oh my gosh, 18 plus 5.
Yeah,
Oh my
you,
God.
thankfully you don't see anything wrong in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the scuffle of where it sort of happened, the dried blood that wasn't able to be removed from like both the Queen and the guard that night and everything. But other than that, everything was fine.
Okay, and then I'm gonna will myself over to my bed,
You do
and
so.
then kind of just try and hop up onto it.
Athletics.
Oh no! See, acrobatics would have been fine, but it's fine.
Can't even do acrobatics right now.
15.
15. All right, that's enough. So you're able to, as you said, move yourself by yourself and then get onto the bed, showing that she's regaining her strength. Yeah.
And I kind of just pat the bed around me just to like show everyone to come on the bed.
And I definitely go and I'm like over trying to like position myself like on the side, not like too much into her space, because
Yeah.
I'm still trying to be respectful.
But still, yeah, as you can see,
Yeah.
clear bandages on her side of where the impact actually happened, because like healing magic can heal wounds and all kind of stuff, but it can't do everything, as it's still pretty grievous and all that kind of stuff. So I assume that you guys are all on the bed
Now
or near the bed?
technically, wait, hold on
Sure.
now. Let me take a look at this, because the thing is that I think with Paladin, yes, I can neutralize. So when I did do what I did, that lessened it, but because I had a long rest,
Sure, if you'd like to.
should I, because
Now that you have-
it's yeah, because
yeah.
it says that you can cure multiple diseases and neutralize multiple poisons with a single use of lay on hands.
Perfect.
Hey.
So we're gonna say that because she was unconscious and passed out, it didn't quite have that effect. But now that she's conscious and you realize that she's paralyzed, you now, with her consent, can remove the paralyzation from the poison or the toxins if you'd like to. Yeah. So
If you don't mind.
No.
And then she's going to basically trace the queen's body, and you see where it's that kind of like that flame, spectral flame,
Yeah.
that is like kind of covering her body as if she's on fire, but she's not really on fire. You would just feel of warmth, but it actually feels nice, like you're in a spa or a sauna or something.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's like from head to toe doing that, doing the
Fair enough.
thing.
Now that she realizes that you're
Oh, and that's
paralyzed-
five of the I have to
HP?
use five
Okay.
of my
Thank
yeah.
you.
Perfect. And you
that.
feel mobility begin to return, and the strength to your muscles begin to return as you're capable now. As fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll start just bouncing on the bed, like I'm just like jumping up and down on the bed. Well, everyone's on it.
There you go. Perfect. You're in control. Of
For the
form.
record, Relvin did not sit on the bed, rather flourished their robes and then sat down on their knees at the edge of the bed.
Perfect. Jackson.
Jackson's gonna remain standing until commanded by the queen to sit.
So it's just me and Dia, just like
Yeah. I'm just like
Yeah.
I imagine that while it's still happening, she's like still trying to pour in her like good hands.
yeah. And then I'm just gonna like sit down, like bounce down. I say, everyone just sit on the bed. It's big enough, like it's like 5
can
times
you
my
just
size.
promise not to continue to jostle the bed as much for
Fine.
those who are trying to sit?
Okay. I'll stop. It's
Your
fine.
grace is far too generous.
Thank you,
Mm,
Your Majesty.
indeed.
One of the guards like peeks in a little bit and be like, did you want your charcuterie board like you always do?
I want a whole spread, just a whole spread, just
of
the
cour- of
whole
course.
buffet. Okay,
Of course, my queen. As they like close the door.
But-
And then,
but not before you come in. It's a private meeting.
sorry. Is yeah, you hear them shuffling to be able to get the thing.
Yep.
You guys are?
Okay, so a lot has happened the last couple of days, and you are the ones I can truly trust. So, I hate to continue to talk politics, but I seem to be missing out on a lot of things, and I've been away from all the action. So, any updates on your specific jobs or anything, positions that you can give me? Any new information on possible improvements?
Well, I will say the tax rate that the tax rate that was proposed, it's not going to be possible if we just do that. If we do that outright, if we do that, that's going to cripple us. So, I am in favor of lowering the taxes, at least for the commoners. I don't know how well that will go over with the nobles. We'll have to figure out something of that sort. I am for helping our commoners out, and they're the backbone. They're workers. We do need to invest in infrastructure. Our kingdom it's in shambles. It's
Mhm.
not too far gone. It's still salvageable. Again, your will before ours, but I would not recommend going to 2.5 as this commoner says. Perhaps a happy medium can be figured out.
Do you think
Okay.
it would settle at maybe 3%?
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Three could be done, possibly.
But if we
yeah.
if we do 3%, then possibly increased by 2% for the wealthy.
Or an alternative, perhaps we explain that a reduction in the taxes may not be beneficial in the long run, but perhaps we offer a slightly larger lump sum for the repairs for the infrastructure, but leave the tax rate as is.
That's not a bad idea too.
Oh,
that
and also
way.
towards education.
Education.
Yes. Education and training.
Because that'll end up costing us less, but they will see the immediate effects right away.
And as a reminder, Jackson, you were approached about the narcotics.
I know.
Got it. Okay, go
I
ahead.
was about to go there. So
Oh, I have a question.
Mhm.
So, Dia's family is wealthy.
Mhm.
If Dia were to put in her own money towards the infrastructure and education, like as far as like doing a donation towards that, would that be possible, DM?
Sure, that's completely fine. Yeah, you can decide how much. I don't know if we sorted it beforehand. If not, we can sort that out like before the next episode. That way you know what you're playing with. Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm willing to at least put forth some of our own families' um, money that we obviously have saved, and at least just to show, again, in good faith, that we are committed to this cause.
Thank you, dear. It's much appreciated. I will donate as much as I personally can towards the cause. I like the idea, Rovan. However, I am concerned about equality in general, as because of this, there is a giant class difference between each class, like socially and economically.
A valid concern, but we want to heed caution in allowing the Commonwealth to believe that they can have their every demand met at their
Yes.
whim.
Perhaps we can change the tax later on at a later date. Perhaps
Indeed.
that can be later handled, but for now, like you just said, yes, maybe we can lump sum it and make some changes, I guess, for them for the better.
They'll see the immediate effects. It will not damage our coffers, and they will perhaps even be more receptive to a lesser reduction in the long run.
Agreed. Thank you for your input.
There was a representative from Oltega that did speak with me. She mentioned the product hag crust. Now, to my knowledge, this has been used with medicinal properties, although some do use it recreationally.
And we'll say that the nobles absolutely know what hag crust is. So Dia and Queen Eclipse. Relvin, are you a noble or are you not a noble?
I would say I would know it.
Okay, perfect. So all of you are aware of its addictive properties and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
So do we know the side effects?
Yeah, it's essentially it's a huge downer. It like messes with your brain over long terms of periods. People can get really, really addicted to it to the point where they just like lose all interest in everything else. But there are benefits to it where if you're extremely stressed out or feeling very emotional, it can bring you down to the point where you can't really feel anything. You're just like numb and like kind of happy, and all that kind of stuff. So used for surgeries, used for various other things. Yeah.
So
Do
Mhm.
not
are we more on the
suggest this.
are we more on the level of like cannabis or opium?
yeah, I was gonna
Opium.
say.
Opium.
Okay,
Oh no.
okay.
Yeah, Dia's
Ah.
like, absolutely not.
You don't want to sell drugs to the community?
What are they offering?
They offered two paths. One, if we allow them to sell the product, 15% of the profits that would come through selling points, it would be a boon. We imagine that there are many who would want to use that. 15% could be very beneficial to our coffers for doing absolutely nothing. The other option, if we allow the Oltecans to travel with it, if it's in their cargo and we just ignore, they're willing to cut us at least 5% of the profits. Did I get that right, D'Angelo? By the way,
Correct. Yeah. Well, so
Okay.
like otherwise it'll be 750 per month that you guys would have an income, or it would be 250 per month.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Now, again, Your Grace, it's just an option. I cannot speak for all of us, but in terms of our financial crisis, we need to look at all angles.
Yeah, I agree.
And my master, just to help out, and then like next episode I'll let you guys all go on your own. You could always put in an option where you guys like allow them to pass through your lands, but you deny involvement. Like if they get caught, they get caught, but you guys still benefit from it secretly, as long as the hush hush is maintained, sort of thing. But all right, that's my last little bit.
This is perhaps an opportunity for us to offer a more stealthy approach. We do need the finances for our coffers and to protect our people, but perhaps if this is kept on the down low, it could be a benefit to all. The
But then-
populace gets what they want, and our coffers remain filled.
But then what if it has the opposite effect and it's actually detrimental to our society? Just think about whether or not people would then, the hospitals would be overflowing, not with just plague, but people who are tripping out on this this drug. I mean, we don't know ultimately what is all inside of each and every shipment. We don't know if it's tainted with something else, laced with something else, and then therefore our people are put at danger. And also, too, not to mention the nobles and potentially soldiers who might, fall victim to, the urge to try this, and then they're out of sorts, and we are down even more men or people who are capable of helping to protect the kingdom.
Then perhaps we legalize it and obtain revenue from it. And then it
10%
would
could
be a
helpful.
much more appropriate application, as there would be oversight and we'd be able to monitor its effects. Regardless, it would offer a reprieve to the common folk, which would perhaps quash some of this more rebellious side that has been present currently.
A placated people would be easier to govern.
Easy to govern, but no voice.
Also true.
We do not. I do not wish to take control from the people.
Hmm.
They are their own. Everyone has very valid points. How about if we keep the down low, but let it travel through, but deny any involvement, we can debate for possibly a 5% increase on that. Not the 5%, but the 10%.
10%, indeed.
They are allies. Possibly we can broker a deal.
Indeed. I will reach out to Aro when we have a chance, and again, with your permission, my lady, I will broker a deal.
If we cannot
Grace
get
is
anything
very
above
wise.
5%, then we deny the deal.
Indeed.
But keep it civil.
Indeed.
As Dia has a good point, we do not want to harm our people. We need them capable. We need them alert.
No, of course not. And if I do share the same concern, if hag crust is abused, it could be disastrous, and again, we would lose the power of our people. So I do agree with Master Relvin here. If indeed it can be monitored and we can learn more from it, there's much to be discovered, I believe.
Yes. Raven, if you could take, I guess, a sample of it and investigate it of sorts, but also manage the safe and quiet passage of it traveling through.
As you wish, Your Grace.
Possibly guided through secretly with someone trusted to make
As you
sure none
wish.
of it is lost within our land. Thank you.
So you've gone with the allow passage through the land, but you're going to negotiate the payout essentially. So perfect. So next episode we'll have a little bit of that those scenes to be able to do that. That will require Relvin to try to maintain the secrecy and Jackson to use diplomacy to be able to handle all of this sort of stuff. Are there any other topics that you guys would like to discuss while in each other's presence?
Yes. Jackson had another idea for income.
Yes.
Possibly legalized casinos.
The idea is not a bad idea at all, and would provide entertainment to the common folk and the nobles as well.
And it can be taxed.
It can be taxed. Correct. We can put, I guess, more of these structures within the higher class areas, of course, bringing in coin, but also a couple downtown too.
Indeed. Perhaps we start with one in an area of your choosing, and then expand if we see that it fits our mold and it provides coin to our coffers.
And there's
Yes.
a knock at the door.
Yes.
As one of the guards like sort of opens it up, and then he goes like, your charcuterie board is here. And you see like a little trolley come in with an old elven lady. Who's like, here you go, the best meats and cheeses. As she like puts it on like a table and then like exits out.
Perfect. And
The charcuterie board is going to mysteriously float from the table over to the bed.
It might be poison. Let me check everything first. And then like, yeah. So, perfect. It does float over.
and I just like instantly start munching. And on to next
You feel no
section.
effects. It's very good.
Perfect. On to the next section.
Oh.
Yes.
Did Dia ever get info on if they discovered anything with that one figure that was fiendish figure that was lurking at the back?
That is a great question. Okay, so go ahead and roll an investigation check. And then same with you, Relvin, if you'd like to. Doing research over these 2 days, you know, because you're obviously involved in all that kind of stuff.
And it's an investigation?
Correct.
Okay, that was only a 13.
13? Okay.
Same actually.
Okay. So both of you guys got a 13, which means that your information kind of leads to the same thing as your spies and your soldiers kind of scoured the area. You were able to see some like trickle of blood that was on the roof and the sort of shingles of the sort of castle building, and it kind of dropped off onto another building, and then the trail kind of like went cold there. There are some discussions or rumors that there were people sighted like bouncing off of like, you know, rooftops and everything like that, and but there was a lot of commotion because the distraction of the dungeons going up in flames and rebels.
Oh no, I meant specifically the one that was in the throne room, or when the room when we basically
the like assassin.
No, when we were in discussing with the commoner, with the tiefling about the demands, the one person I saw behind the column during that.
Oh yes, that's what you meant. Okay, got it. They do sort of report back like we found nothing. There was nothing behind that pillar or anything like that. We're going to check again and check the area, but we haven't really found anything. Keep in mind that paladins and clerics are extremely like rare because it comes from a very privileged status. So there aren't any others except for like you essentially. From your family, there's a few, but they're in their own hamlet. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I did. I believe I saw a fiend when we were having the meeting with the Baron and the rebel representative. I had my men try to look into it, but unfortunately came up empty. But I will make sure to continue investigating, because obviously, you know, we have to be on alert with considering your attack, and God knows what else they may be planning.
Okay. With the army, Dia, I hear you. How is it going?
Again, I feel like what is really needed right now is to properly train those that are already in their positions. If we don't make sure that they're already strong enough to handle the burden and the responsibility that they currently have, we don't have men and women who are capable of training the new recruits, if we are to get any more, especially if we're trying to at least mend the relationships with the rebels and the commoners. So until that is resolved, I feel like we have enough time to properly retrain our men and women, so that way they are prepared. And again, I am a firm believer with my father has always stood by the fact that it is about not strength in numbers, but the strength of the man, the strength of the person. And if you don't have that, numbers are nothing. And there's other types of warfare. I have definitely multiple strategies in place if we ever did have to get to that point where even the greatest army would fall before us.
Okay. So ensure they are properly trained, and then possibly find some incentive for the new recruits. Find some form of incentive for positivity for them to join for some reason for the army, right? Give them something to make it think it's a good idea, I guess, or at least that it's a positive of sorts. So if they join,
bonus.
yeah, a signing bonus. But and then once you have these new recruits, possibly pair them with the old soldiers, have like a buddy system of sorts, I guess, like a mentor mentee.
You're very
Loyalty
wise.
is a powerful force.
Yes, I agree.
and then hopefully we can expand and build.
Perfect.
As
Any
you
other?
wish.
Yeah. And Relvin, how's it going
Great.
with that diary?
You can go ahead and
Have
do
I
an
had an
arcana
oppor-
check.
Okay, I was gonna say, did I have an opportunity to figure this out? All right.
You're going to need a 15 or higher to succeed.
Alas, Your Grace, this diary seems to be proving more challenging than anticipated. I may require a bit more time before I can give you the answers you seek.
No, of course I understand. Damn you, mother!
For the record, that was a 5.
Oh dear.
It's okay. Narratively, you know, this diary is the least thing on your mind. You know, there's a whole lot on your
Of
plate.
course.
Yeah.
I may have been a little distracted.
No, of course. Are you okay, Robin? That's just the main question is, are you okay?
As long as we have the health of Your Grace, I will be just fine.
And we're going to say that to maintain your pristine physical appearance magically, it's going to concentration. So whenever you have to use a spell that requires concentration, you'll have to let go of your appearance.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay, so can you please recount what happened that night in the dungeon?
Yes, so as we had discussed, I went down to visit with our rebellious counterparts and offered them a peace offering from the rations that we were generously offered, which, for the record, seems as if it was untainted. They seemed to enjoy it quite ravenously. But before I had an opportunity to get any answers out of them, a masked assailant made an attempt on my life. I was unable to apprehend them, but I was able to escape from 3 additional assailants along with Barrow with the assistance of some help from the Harrowin individuals who happened to be present at the time.
I see. That is terrifying. Again, apologies for having to go through that.
It was a frightening incident, but I came out quite unscathed.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead and do a deception check.
Deception check is going to be a 18.
18. Yep. You believe him. He seems genuine.
okay. Okay. So any more matters that must be discussed between us? Any progress? Possibly the assailant.
Was I able to find any information on the Raven icon?
Go ahead and do a history check. You're going to need a 16 or higher to succeed.
That will be a 19.
19. Okay. So
Got
with the
him.
19, you definitely recognize that symbol is normally used for sort of Shabaka assassins, like highly trained ones. It's an older symbol that isn't used anymore, like because you are aware of like your allies' military and all that kind of stuff. But that's a very old like specialist sort of group that deal with toxins and assassinations and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, but it's 200 years ago they used that stuff. They no longer use it now.
I relay this information. It seems strange that an outdated society of such would still have such a presence.
Possibly hired mercenary.
Entirely possible. Could be a false flag operation of some sort. In either case, it's definitely the work of someone who does not favor you or your court.
Apparently so. Okay, I think we should all keep an eye out for any more information we can get. I guess just keep an eye out in general. We also have to talk about the mission for the Baron, the undead, that we are all going on.
So at this moment, we're gonna go ahead and say that you guys like continue on this conversation with each other about like what have you while you're eating your charcuterie boards and all that kind of stuff. and or the food on it, not the actual board, and you like drink and relax and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and
High five or snack.
right, exactly. And
Sounded
we're gonna
kind of
go ahead.
bland. Yeah.
Yeah, but and we're gonna end the episode there as you guys survived. You made decisions, which is awesome. And I was expecting you guys to talk to the priest, so I'm excited to see you guys like talk to some pissed off priests next time. So thanks to the advice of both Duralath and Utahime, they have convinced me to not play on the 20th, which is the Wednesday before my wedding, which is solid advice. So our next episode is actually going to be November 3rd, that Wednesday. So I hope you guys are all enjoying it. We really appreciate you guys. One more time, let's go around the room so you guys can tell everyone, whether you can be found, what you're going to do next and everything. Also, please let me know if there's anyone you think we should raid. That way we can send over some good vibes to someone. And we're going to start off with Rising Valkyrie, our queen.
Hi, I'm Jess. You can find me at Rising Valkyrie on Instagram, at Rising Valkyrie J on Twitter. I'll be next thing I'm in is actually Phoenix by Night Season 2 at the end of this month on the 30th. Super excited. So hopefully I get to play a very fun paranoid vampire, but we'll see. Yeah, anything else will also be on my Instagram and my stories and everything. That's it. Yeah.
Perfect. And then going over to Discount Bard.
Hi everyone, I'm Eddie, otherwise known as the Discount Bard. You can find me on all the socials at Discount Bard. I'm a TTRPG streamer, voice artist, and streamer. I stream on Twitch regularly on Tuesdays and Thursdays, sometimes Saturdays. Right now I'm doing an October series featuring all sorts of spooktacular horror games. I just did Five Nights at Freddy's earlier this week. We're doing Man of Maiden starting tomorrow, and all sorts of other titles over the course of the month. I'm also on alternating Tuesdays on DM Screenings channel, where we do Ecrium expeditions, where I get to play my little goblin artificer art, and all sorts of other fun projects like that all over the place. So yeah, that's me. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. And then going over to Utahime.
Hi guys, I'm Brianna, but most of you know me as Utahime. I'm a cosplayer, streamer, and TTRPG performer, and you can find me on the socials of the medias at Utahime Cosplay, Facebook, Instagram, here on Twitch, where I also stream on my channel, and you can see all of the fun, spooky games that I will be playing, including tomorrow night, 4 p.m. Pacific time. I will be streaming some Phasmophobia with friends, so definitely tune in for that. And then on Friday, you can catch me over at Creators Assemble for the premiere of Agents of Nyx, and that's 6:30 Pacific time for that. And then if you want to see what other shenanigans I'm up to, Brianna DeCosta on Twitter.
Yeah. Then going over to our giveaway winner, Duralath.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
That reaction.
Oh God! Oh,
Yep.
whoa!
So I will send another package to your guys' house. Let's see.
I appreciate how that. Wow. All right.
We are never this lucky. This is
I
weird.
know.
I will win one day. I will win.
Oh man. What's up, everybody? I am Andrew J. Landy. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Andrew J. Landy, or you can also find me on Twitter at Duralath for fighting game related material, or my Twitch, twitch.tv/Duralath, where I stream different games from Street Fighter 3 Third Strike to Hades. Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays, that's usually when I stream. We've started adding more games. Forewarned was recently added, and we'll be trying to do a little more spooky stuff to fit the theme of Spooktober, Scarytober, whatnot. Last but not least, I am the voice of Dante Mendoza in the new audio drama Vampire the Masquerade Port Saga. Episodes drop every Thursday. So there's a new episode coming out tomorrow. This one, please, please, please subscribe where you can. Check out this awesome audio drama. A lot of work, a lot of heart has gone into it. And this episode, you will definitely hear the voice of yours truly in there. So again, I played Dante Mendoza, Vampire the Masquerade, Port Saga, wherever you get your podcast. That is Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, Google, iHeart, and many more. Again, Vampire the Masquerade, Port Saga. You can also follow them, Port Saga, on Twitter.
And thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate you. My name is D'Angelo Murillo. You can find me at _D'Angelo. We're always trying to do cool things here on this channel, organizing events to help the community with diversity and everything. And you can check us out at the beginning of November, and we'll see you guys later. Bye. And perfect. we should be rating my homie.
Dumb bite.
Oh, there's an ad. God dang it.
There was
Uh,
a
Oh, I
first
see it. No, we
That's
did.
it.
I
Yeah.
do too.
Perfect.
A first bunny.
Zombite.
So like,
Yeah, she's
A
super cool.
first
She's a homie of
campfire.
mine.
right on.
Now there's the first.
Wait,
ever
I won
one-day
something?
Santa Cruise to help
You
on your
did, yeah. I'll
journey
send you
to
that
all
soon.
firsts.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Every
Thank
journey
you.
to
That's
adventure
crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Start
I
yours
don't
in
win
our
things.
first
This
ever
is awesome.
sport adventure vehicle, the
Super
Hyundai
cool.
Santa
Yeah.
Cruise.
Go, perfect.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you saw my message. I still have Tayyar underneath my name
Oh, that's right. Oh,
on
dang
the
it. Okay.
overlay. Guha
Dia
Tayyar.
Yeah.
Wait, who's supposed to be the queen again?
cosplay.
Not me.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Not me, please.
You somehow
Or-
managed to surpass the lineage.
It was
Right?
Tia is a big EG.
No,
and
I
she's gonna
am.
try to
I
take
am
the throne.
secretly
Chatting
one with the
about,
land, so
I
was
I'm
gonna
actually
say.
the
Rising Valkyrie,
reincarnate
thank you for the
of.
follow.
That's fine. You can take it. You can take the throne. It's okay. Go for it. Have fun.
Nope.
We were,
No.
Dustin
Have
and
fun.
I
I'm just
went
the
to
land that has to see you guys
for the first
figure out
time
what
the
you're
last
gonna do with
time.
it.
Yeah.
God, it is a shit show.